Ooh. There are memes going on. Hutch is alting right now. Where?
All right, so to Hutch's point there.
Give it to the policy wonks. I'm sure there's like 10 other specific reforms that you could push. But as long as you do both of those things, then I think that there's a path that's forming right now to galvanize support for abolishing ICE. You just have to be smart about it.
What about abolish Trump's ICE? Like if you put the Trump qualifier on that? Like
I like it. I mean, I kind of like that. Yeah.
It doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. I'm just gonna say it doesn't hit the same.
I think we'll cover the whole spectrum of the like worried about it IRIs to the like fucking get rid of all these people in Nuremberg them. Abolish Trump's ICE. I think
you guys can do that. You guys can do that. I'm gonna go grab my abolish ICE shirts. I do, however, think in terms of optics, this is the name of the act that I'm proposing. The Renee Good and Alex Preddy Justice Act. And you do the kind of Lake and Riley act.
That's so good. I'm not even kidding. That's so good.
Just fucking it hits, and you make the mandate. It's a dual mandate: internal immigration enforcement for the new agency and respect for constitutional rights. And that's the number one mandate: is respect for the rights of the American people. And that needs to be a new culture, a whole new culture. And anyone who's in government who's wearing ICE will make that a crime. Any kind of ICE shirt, any kind of ICE paraphernalia, crime.
I'm not sure how I agree with the last part.
Yeah, wait, what?
While on duty. While on duty. While on duty. While on duty. No First Amendment issue there. Is it a uniform? Is that a First Amendment issue? No, not off duty. On duty.
These motherfuckers.
I think obviously, even if it doesn't violate the law, the First Amendment, like in like.
How would it violate the law to say it's not allowed as part of your uniform to wear ICE? If ICE is abolished, Donfon, how would that be a First Amendment issue?
I'm not. You're a lawyer, okay? So
that's right.
I would like I know in Tinker v. Des Moines and like this is different obviously, but like
that's a school case. That's a school case. That's a school case involving kids.
That's
right.
They fucked up, boys.
Common institution where you're allowed to wear something as part of your freedom of expression.
But not ICE because it'll distract people and they'll be confused and they'll think that ICE is back, but ICE is abolished.
They killed a mom who literally had stuffed animals in her glove compartment, and then they killed a white Christian VA nurse, Second Amendment like enthusiast. They fucked this up. I mean, obviously killing people is wrong, but I'm just saying the idea that they thought that they could convince the public that this guy was a terrorist who showed up to do quote maximum harm and mass murder ICE agents.
Assassin.
And then that day, there's videos of this guy leading a prayer for a veteran that died in his care at the VA. Wait,
was that video really that day? I just assumed it was like an older video. Was it actually? Jeez, because if so, yikes.
I would be shocked if Kristi Noem survived another month politically.
Well, I actually want to ask about that. Do you think that this news about Bovino stepping down, is this because the optics are just so bad? And were they not? If the polling weren't shifting against them, would they triple down and say, nope, fuck it, like we're doing great and ISIS did perfect?
Yeah.
Of course. This is a concession.
They feel they're vulnerable.
They know. They know that they totally lost the narrative on both of these, frankly. But this one was, in my opinion, much more egregious. He died protecting a woman. That was his last instinct. He died protecting a woman. And his last words were very likely, "Are you okay?"
I want to shout out.
I have like totally apolitical friends, and this is anecdotal, obviously, but like the one thing that like gets them actually somewhat interested in politics is the ICE raids, is the like ICE shootings, because they always do go viral. Those are on Instagram reels. That is the one thing that actually gets them motivated.
Are these conservative friends, or are these are
these are
apolitical, like normies?
Like,
got it. I want to shout out, and this is not going to help the rumors because I usually don't like this guy.
Don't do
Glenn
it.
Greenwald's recent video.
I thought you were going to say someone else there, buddy. Oh boy. Okay.
What?
All right.
You almost got me there. Glenn Greenwald's recent video on Alex Preddy. It didn't take a view on the legal justification angle, even though I think that's pretty clear from my perspective. People can have different opinions. I think it's pretty clear. It just took a look at the lies of the administration, like the objective lies that Hutch referenced. He's an assassin. The fact that they were both parodying each other, saying what was it, massacre or mass casualty event or maximum damage maybe, and it is just unconscionable to think that they would be in charge of, for example, invoking the Insurrection Act, claiming all these wild and extravagant powers to conduct war wherever they want to with no oversight. Why would if they can't even be honest about things that are happening in front of our eyes?
That's a good argument.
And are debunked within seconds. How can we trust them with anything else? And at some point, I think the overreach is going to kick him in the ass, and maybe it's doing it right now.
And they're already coming out and saying they're not going to release the body cam footage, or at least,
really?
That was in one of the press conferences. But it's exactly what you're saying. It's like if they're willing to blatantly lie.
Wait, hold on. Are you sure they committed to that? Because I watched the.
I didn't know. She didn't commit. It was just like President Trump has no indication that he's going to do this. Like instead of being transparent about this, but it could come out later. But as far as I know, they have not signaled that they're going to.
Okay. Yeah.
But to bounce off that PISSCO, the idea that like we literally can see in the footage that they're 180 lying the complete opposite of what reality is. Same with Renee Good. They said she knocked him over, ran him over. This guy approached ICE agents with a weapon, like implication being like he's like pointing his gun at them. Like it's just blatant lies. So if they're gonna do this, like how can we trust like anything at this point? I feel like I'm a QAnoner now, where it's just like, oh, the deep state, and like I can't trust anything in the government. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, I believe all that shit. I believe it. And I think the FC files is coming back.
Do you want to run around on Bluegate and just pick some plants, I guess, or?
Yeah, we can do the plants.
Okay. Do you have like a link for them?
Do we have a link for them?
Like that shows where they all spawn?
I believe well, not for Bluegate. Is the electromagnetic storm up?
No. Why are you linking me to the NFL subreddit like I give a fuck?
Oh, whoops. This is for spaceport, apparently. Wait, there's no electromagnetic storm up? There has to be.
That starts at 1 a.m.
No, it starts at 8 p.m.
Are you looking at the wrong time zone, or am I
No,
looking
hold
at the
on.
wrong?
Give me the goddamn controls.
Starts in 4 hours, 43 minutes.
What was I looking at then earlier?
Something retarded. Launch tower loot, maybe? Or
Oh, is that a 40-minute one?
what? Launch tower loot?
Yeah, I'd never heard of this one before.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's a minor event, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. Probably better to do a night raid for... Yeah, let's go Blue Gate.
But you just linked to a spaceport, though, right?
Yeah, I don't have Blue Gate. Let me look at the map.
Because this is going to add to this mistrust. It kind of reminds me a little bit, though I was not alive during this era, the post-Nixon era.
I mean, there's been a 30-point swing in favor of abolishing ICE.
But I think they're pissed at the way ICE is going about things, not at ICE as a whole. Because ICE operated under Biden and nobody had any complaints.
But
What's to stop us from doing the counter ads, RI, where we take these like sickening stills of all these people pointing guns at these victims who are not like threatening them in any way and say ICE is corrupt. We need a new institution to like fix our border, right? Like that's all. I think that's going to play so much better than they want to protect pedophiles and rapists. Like just based on what Hutch is saying, the polling, like we make better attack ads. I think it goes in our favor.
And focus on Americans' rights. Like, this is a police state. It's papers, please. They're wearing masks. Whatever immigration enforcement looks like, it can't look like this. And the institution that we have now has shown itself incapable of operating under the constraints of our constitutional system, and therefore it needs to go. And we need a new agency with a new mandate.
Whether or not you can message effectively on that. But I do have like some basic concern that the abolish ICE slogan is just gonna things could very easily swing back in the other direction if there's like some publicized like immigrant killing of a U.S. citizen or whatever.
I feel like I don't know how I feel about abolish ICE as a slogan. I think we should because it's so the office is so tainted.
It's
but
been tainted though.
the problem is abolish ICE has been so infected by these tanky, progressive, retard fucks who think we shouldn't have any type of legal immigrant enforcement, which is toxic cancer. You can't go out in front of Americans and say we're not going to do anything about the border. We're not going to do anything about illegal immigrants. And I worry that like some of these tankies that are jumping onto the this is the abolish ICE thing. That's where they're going, which is annoying. Yeah, it's basically like abolish the police or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty much co-opted.
If there are riots that break out similar to 2020, I mean,
Right.
like we saw support for Black Lives Matter.
Wait, am I
Blue Gate sucks for...
plants?
yeah, it's really bad.
Okay, kings.
Because the olives and shit and the lemons don't count.
Yeah. Okay, well. How was the panel? The panel was fine. It'll come out tomorrow.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was time for whatever it was. That was at 8 o'clock, but it's at fucking 1 p.m. then? Tomorrow?
Something like that, yeah.
All right, well, I'll join for that then.
Okay,
GG's.
be careful.
All right, cool.
Go up to I think 55% shortly after George Floyd, and then all of that was erased within 3 months because of the riots. And so, if we're in a similar situation 3 months from now, if widespread rioting happens, and that allows the Republicans to like seize control of the narrative, which I think would be really fucking stupid. And so, I would encourage anybody listening to discourage their friends from doing stupid shit. And if that's the case, then you go with reforms. It's just you should be dynamic.
My position is the policy I want to see is the abolishment of ICE. Given that it's the policy that I want to see, it is in fact what I think we should run on, and it is I think the message that we should try to promote. And I think that the way to address it is to focus on the reason why ICE needs to be abolished. And the reason ICE needs to be abolished is because they, as an agency isn't separate from its personnel in that respect, non-fun, right? Agencies develop through a course of cultural development over time. Like one of the horrible things that's happening with the gutting of all these different agencies is we're losing a lot of that internal cohesion that has been built up over decades and decades and decades at like very important agencies that regulate in the United States. And that sort of background culture, that stuff isn't easy to replace and recreate or to fix entirely. And so given that I think that personnel and agency and policy are almost hand in hand, I want to get rid of it, and that will help with some of these potential First Amendment challenges if they try to say, oh, you're just coming after us because we're Trump supporters. No, we're just getting rid of the whole agency because of its culture. It's not any particular person that will have the accomplishment of easy firings of everybody, and they can, if they want to, reapply for the new agency with a new mandate. I think it makes sense from a policy perspective. It avoids a lot of constitutional challenges or other kind of bureaucratic challenges that you could have because it has the imprimatur of Congress. And then ultimately, it is addressing the cultural rot at the center of ICE in a way that mere swaps of personnel will never accomplish.
Okay, two things. The first thing, who the fuck is Chud? What is that name?
Chudsley
Chudsley Harriet. That guy's got to go, bro.
He's just calling
What's
everyone
going on?
They're
I'm looking at YouTube. I don't see Chud's lead.
Why are you feeding the troll, Hutch?
They gotta go, bro. They're screaming. They're calling non-fauna a fascist. They're calling IRI a fascist. They're calling me a fascist. They are spamming that shit. Somebody's got to
Guys,
Is it in Twitch
you
chat
know
or
why?
YouTube?
You know why? I'm calling
up their chat for Christ.
Twitch chat or YouTube, whatever.
Okay, so then
Based Hutch calling it out. Good job.
number two. I want to push back a little bit. What if, PISSCO, let me give you a hypothetical. What if we could accomplish everything that you're trying to accomplish in terms of completely overhauling how we systemically enforce immigration policy? What if we could do all of that with a rebrand instead of, or with a massive reform policy instead of a completely new institution? And what if that pulled 25 points higher than abolish ICE? Would you be persuaded? You would prefer the? Oh, okay, all right.
If you say if I accomplished all my goals and I knew that it pulled way better, do you think I was gonna say no?
No.
Are you like if I'm just like virtue signaling?
No. I'm not. I swear to you, I'm not like trying to lead you into a gotcha. That was a genuine. I was genuinely curious because a lot of people that I spoke with in 2020, I had a conversation with somebody who, and I asked them this same hypothetical but applied to Black Lives Matter or defund the police. I said, what if you can get everything you want? Everything. What if you can convince lawmakers to pass legislation at the state level, at the federal level, and you can redirect funds from police departments to social services and do all that stuff by using a different slogan? And in doing so, you can guarantee that you get it. Would you do that? And the person said no. They said I shouldn't have to change the slogan. It's not up to me to like explain this to normies. And that was the most insane thing I ever heard in my life. So I just wanted to make sure you weren't in that
insane. No, I appreciate everything.
I think
I don't see the chat person. I just want to be clear. I don't see the chat person in my YouTube chat. I just looked and I didn't see him in the Twitch chat. If we see him anywhere, we'll get him. We're gonna get the bad guys, right?
Yeah, I blocked him
Because-
on
because-
restream, but he still shows up. I can see this guy everywhere, and now he's on YouTube.
Look
too.
at bro. This guy is fully deranged. This guy.
Get the help you need, Chudley, whatever the fuck. I think not.
Oh, he's on the official Lib&Learn one. Don't worry, I'll get him. He's on the official Lib&Learn one. I'll get him. I'll get him. He's not in mine. He's in the official Lib&Learn. Just that's it. We'll get him. We'll get him.
Fuck him. He's probably Josiah fan. That's where he came from. I think non-fawn is spitting here. We are one undocumented immigrant away from killing a white college girl from the public shifting to the other side on this. And then now we're sitting here rallying around abolish ICE. I think that could complicate things tremendously.
Well,
any concerns
can
there?
you come up with a better slogan in the next 10 seconds? Because I think reform does not roll off.
I don't know if these guys, I don't know if they'll ever actually substantively address this point. This is about 30 minutes behind where they are. But I think the question should be, what do we mean when we say abolish ICE? Because I don't know if everybody means the same thing on this panel. Like, I legitimately, like for Soy Pill, and I guess PISSCO, I'm not sure, like, I think some people just don't think we should have any type of interior illegal immigration enforcement. And I just think that's such a loser position. And we shouldn't want that. Like, again, for regardless of your feelings about immigration, and I think our immigration should be much wider in the United States, like, you should want, you know, like, interior enforcement of your immigration stuff. Like, that's kind of important. You don't want people who are just illegally in your country that can just stay here forever and nothing, you know, I don't know.
Off the tongue nearly so well as abolish, even though it's fewer syllables.
Here's what I think. I don't think we need a slogan on it. I don't think we need to run on ICE. I think we are in a powerful position right now with the government shutdown to demand some serious changes, which I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. And by the way, I brought this up a couple weeks ago. We should shut down the government over demands for DHS, and it got a bit of a muted response. But I understand there's more now with this Alex guy, tragically. But we're on the verge of possibly getting body cams. We're on the verge of demasking these guys. We're on the verge of forcing them to not racially profile. So what if we get all those things in this shutdown fight? Do you guys still think abolish ICE is worth going with at that point?
No, I don't. Like, if we actually get those meaningful reforms, then yeah, I think it makes more sense to just get those reforms, right?
Yeah, I agree. If we can get the reforms and we don't have to risk, like you say, like I think it's not as big of a risk, but if it is, what about prosecute ICE? I like that better.
I saw the tweet and I didn't laugh and I disavow, but it said grape ICE, and that is something I wouldn't support.
Oh wow, very brave, PISSCO, that you don't support that as a political
I don't support it.
ICE,
You know,
ICE, you just say ICE accountability. Boom, there you go. Simple, elegant.
that's great.
I like that.
Well,
Roll the tongue.
PISSCO, let me challenge you with that. If we do get some reforms, I'm not saying we're going to get $75 billion back like Bernie wants. I'm not saying we're going to get them demasked, but if we get them to really change and have to go about their business differently, do you still think abolish ICE will be a winning slogan?
If we are able to get reforms in a different context, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the answer to that. I'm sorry.
Well, with the
think
reforms we're asking for now in the shutdown fight, I'm sure you've been seeing some of the stuff.
Post-reform, will abolish ICE play as well? Probably not.
Yes. Okay. Because I think we're about to see that. I really do. Because you're seeing people on the right, including lawmakers, start to say, yo, this isn't right. We need to pump the brakes. You know, what are we doing here? And Trump firing that guy is a pretty big deal. Too.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is the problem, right? The problem is almost entailed by the mission. The mission of mass deportation was always going to entail rights deprivations like we're seeing. Because once you get the people who are easy to get, they're in the system, they're the ones who are showing up for a lot of their hearings, they're ones who are more visible in other ways, potentially, or they're showing up to places where, ICE is known to go. Once you get those people, there's still millions of other potentially removable immigrants in the country. And in order to find them and to reach the numbers that they're all pushing for, they're going to need to do things like searches. That's why they're trying to expand searches to not even require a warrant when it comes to trespassing on the home. That's why they're just going up to people and asking, hey, are you a citizen? Just based on their accent or because they're brown. These capital stops and stuff. And so I don't really believe that this administration will ever be able to sufficiently reform ICE in this context while still trying to do their policy agenda, which they haven't backed down 1 second, of quote unquote mass deportation. And so I don't really see it that like it's a good optics win for the Bovino stuff, but this is like throwing meat out. They don't give a shit about Bovino. They just want a sacrificial lamb. That's not going to fundamentally change how shit is happening. It's just a way to try to get the Jimmies unwrustled.
I mean, I can agree with that, but I mean, if you're just saying, and I agree with that, to be clear, that like the issue is the mass deportations, that's always just going to entail whatever rights deprivations. I mean, that's just an issue with the policy. The president would find a way, if they want to do mass deportations, to do the same thing that ICE is doing with whatever tools you give them access to.
Like, so the administration is going to keep doing whatever ICE is doing with whatever tools they have?
I mean, if you have an agency or the DHS, have the same, have similar authority, which, I think you said, you still want an agency to have the authority to do like internal deportations and stuff. Why would the president, if they support mass deportations, not just have the same authority to?
Oh no, because I'm not just worried about the agency's culture when we have a Republican president or when we have a lawless president. I'm worried about the culture in the context of a Democratic president. They're not going to be loyal to the mission that whatever Democratic president wants. They're not going to do that, right? So like, it's not an issue that just persists during Trump's tenure. And so you ask, well, wouldn't it be conceivable that if like a Trump-like figure wins again, that the reforms wouldn't be sufficient to guard against these abuses? Yeah, the problem there is Trump, but the problem also persists with respect to ICE beyond Trump, and now would extend into future presidencies. And so that's why I think the reform is needed, even notwithstanding the fact that you can imagine a president either ignoring whatever new mandate you put there or just giving new personnel such that it doesn't matter. I still think the reform is necessary.
Can I just add to that, because I agree, like, what I hear when I hear reform and we just need to fix it, I hear means testing. And when I see means testing in, like, welfare or any of these other things, you're not going to get everyone. And when you see how terrible this has been used as the enforcement arm, like, I mean, like, literally, what was Bovino saying before he got let go recently, saying, hey, if you call us Gestapo, there will be consequences, like, essentially saying and representing themselves as a Gestapo. And it's like, how do you reform this? How do you means test this? Like, yeah, we got all the bad ones, all the, like, people that signed up because they hate brown people and are going to abuse the system. Like, we got every single one of them. How about we get rid of it and build it from the ground up? Because I want to make sure these fucks never are employed again. That's where I'm at. So unless you could sufficiently show me that we're going to prosecute every single piece of shit that's in the administration right now, and then get our people, like, good people like IRA saying who's just trying to go after like the violent criminals, I don't think there's any other way to do that.
Well, sure. I'm just weighing. I think you would agree, like, even in like the case you just, like, if we don't fully prosecute everyone, like the threat of ICE would be reduced if we did get, whatever reforms. You would agree with that, right? Like,
yeah, sorry, I was trying to do the moderation stuff.
I'm talking to Soyfeld too. You would agree, like, I'm just weighing, like, sort of what is the like probability of the abolish ICE messaging like backfiring versus like what is the difference between abolishing ICE and reforming ICE? Like is the difference in the amount of harm caused there sufficient to justify?
Yeah, I think the world I see that your guys' concerns are played out is, like you said, if we get another Laken Riley incident and like a week before the election, it's like, you want to abolish the organization that would have saved her? Like, yeah, that could happen. But I mean, again, yeah, it depends, I guess, when the election happens. Because the election was next week, I'd say fuck it, abolish ICE. If it happens after, yeah, maybe you got to change your messaging a little bit. But I don't know how risky that is. It's hard to say.
I wouldn't put it past the Trump administration to unleash 20 rapists undocumented that they have in their custody in a college town the week before the election, man. They're fucking nuts, these guys.
It seems like the further they push things, the bigger the response that they provoke. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I was so fucking inspired to see 50,000 people in Minnesota marching in sub-zero temperatures. We had 30,000 people in Los Angeles, a city of 3.8 million people, almost 3.9 million people, and we had 30,000 people. That's a city of 425,000 people, and 50,000 people were marching. And if the reports about Bovino are true, that potentially resulted in a pretty somebody got fired. And so they're setting an example, I think, for the country right now. And I think it's important to remind people too that Republicans are vulnerable going into these midterms. Anybody that is in a Trump plus 11, 12 district or state thank you for doing that, by the way. So
yeah, I'm doing that until we can find a way to get rid of the fucking Trump.
Any Republican that's serving in a Trump plus 12 or lower district or state is vulnerable right now. So yes, I think we should pressure Democrats right now to hold the line and to pick a fight over this. I think this is worth another shutdown fight. But also, if you live in a district or a state where a Republican is representing you in the House or the Senate, fucking call them. Leave a voicemail. You can demonstrate in front of their offices. They are susceptible to pressure in a moment like these. All of these people care about their political futures, and all of them know that they're in deep shit right now. So like, it's not just the Democrats that can be pressured in this moment. Like, we can actually potentially extract concessions here.
Hold on, Hutch. I gotta give you some grief. Are you willing to go 6 months, a year, shut down on this?
No. We already talked about this. We can retread that same ground.
But that's happened. No, it's so funny. We had there was someone who was a big Hutch supporter in my community, and I love my Hutch supporters, and I love my Hutch supporters. And he was like, he was like from Germany, so he's like, I actually agree with Hutch a lot about what's happening. And he's like, we shouldn't do any kind of shutdown fight based on ICE. That was kind of his position. I don't know if that's your position, but the minute Chuck, I know, yeah, okay, that was just his position. The minute Chuck Schumer came out and said, we're not going to support this, he changed his mind in the Discord. I'm just like, are you guys just motherfucking following whatever Chuck says to do, bro? And I'm like, why?
Wait. Didn't Chuck come out in favor of a shutdown?
Yes, he did. No. I'm saying that there's a contingent of people. I don't know why. I'm not saying that you're necessarily that. I'm not lumping you in that sense. I'm warning you that they exist, who I think take this kind of like Schumer maximalist position, which is what like Schumer is this master chess player, and what he decides is clearly what's in the best interest of the American people. And that's what I don't understand sometimes, is how much deference is paid to Schumer among some Democrats.
Do you agree Schumer's doing well right now in this moment?
I think it's the right statement to make. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I thought the statement was good. I call balls and strikes. I'm fair and balanced. Always have been.
Wait, guys, really quick update from Josiah. It looks like maybe Bovino's not gone. Have we backtrack on this? This is a classic Trump flip-flop.
That looks like some random administration person versus reporting from what was
this? Is Trisha McLaughlin. This is Trisha McLaughlin. She's the fucking spokesperson.
DHS.
She's just saying he hasn't been relieved of his duties. Maybe
this has happened before. I mean, we've had administration officials come out.
Maybe he's just going to be reassigned or something. Is that
being true? So
okay.
Well, she's playing games there. She's like, he's not relieved of his duties. He's claiming he's relieved of his duties. He might have lost this part of it. And that's it.
It's like
he's being sidelined with an idea to like eventually retire soon or something. Yeah,
it's like sending a party member to fucking Siberia and Soviet Russia.
It's like, remember in Game of Thrones where Tyrion sends Janis Slynt to the wall? And, not exactly like that, but, you can start to think it's a parody. Listen, it's all word game. It's all whatever. It's meaningless no matter what. Who cares if Bovino is at the head or not? The problem is Trump. The problem is Trump and Noam and the principles there. That's what, like, in the policy.
Well,
so no one should, like, I agree with that. I'm saying it's a good optics thing for us to be like, wow, you guys are losers. Even I'm doing this, like, the L against these, like, loser MAGA people who are like, oh my God, not Bovino. But I think it
shouldn't end
don't rest on your laurels. Yeah, don't rest on your laurels.
It's just the beginning. But I think it's a good sign of what's to come. Also, Trump was praising Tim Walz today. That's a totally different tune. He talked to him on the phone and said, we're on the same wavelength now. That's a huge difference.
What did Tim Walz possibly say? Like, what trophy did he give him? What, like, praise could he have said to make Trump completely flop on? Don't forget, he ran as the VP in opposition to him, talking about, oh, tampon Tim, he's awful. Like, the Mamdani almost made sense because, like, Trump didn't have the precedent to, like, hate.
I don't think Walz had to say much. I think that Trump just saw the writing on the wall with this one. Like, I don't think Trump has come out and defended. Did he defend the Renee one? I mean, he was truthing about it. But, like, I think this is just a really unpopular thing. And I don't think Trump wants to fight this battle, is my guess.
Him before, but Walz, I can't believe he's saying even like a modicum of a nice thing to him. Like, I need to know what was said in that call.
I wouldn't be surprised if he called Mamdani and asked for advice. I'm not even kidding. I'm sure he just flattered him a little bit.
Trump?
No, Walz.
The pussy, dude. You get him on the phone, he seems to back down. Just like in Europe.
This isn't the first time. And it's not the first time to sort of back what Ira is saying. If you guys remember the George Floyd stuff, he specifically like praised Walz's performance there, right? Like I'm pretty sure he said, he's doing a great job with what's going on in Minnesota and the protests. And so I don't think that we should take what he's saying right now as there's going to be a massive shift in policy. I think that what's happening is he can read a little bit the room and he knows the shoot was a bad shoot and he's losing on it. And so that should be a signal of weakness and everyone should smell blood in the water and take advantage of it.
Ryan Getty. Where's Ryan Getty? He's in somebody's chat.
Oh, he's in my chat. Why?
I watched your recent video on Gavin Newsom, bro. That was good, man. He makes good videos, man. Everybody should subscribe to Ryan. It's good. Check it out.
I was going to say, you said, like, he sees the blood in the water, reads the writing on the wall. I can't believe Tim Pool came out and said, this is a bad shoot. Although now he's reposting videos of, like, AI upscaled, images that make it look like the guy might have a gun in his hand so that it's justified. But for a brief second there, Tim Pool couldn't grift hard enough to say, hey, this is okay.
It was a fucky statement, though, Sloy. I agree that it was, like, maybe surprising that he would say it, but it was couched in, like, ambiguity and not 100%. It's like,
sure. I mean, he's still doing the fence.
He said, like, Trump's not going to win this one. Like, as though this were... Did we lose Ira?
Oh,
shit.
He said, fuck me, so I'm out.
He says, shit talking.
Did he?
He's Tim Pool's biggest fan. I can't believe we're shit talking him right now.
My heart. No. I
think that you said something. Did you see that? It happened again. You start talking, he bounced.
You're fucking with me. You're fucking.
Hands up.
Hands up. Don't shoot.
Hey, speaking of which, how do you guys feel about Hassan saying that Democrats were actually just as bad because Michael Brown was shot when Obama was president?
He's right. 100% right.
Isabel?
I did not see that.
Oh, can we talk about that for a little bit? The drama, Hutch, and I want Non-Fon's opinion about this too. This is the criticism from the drama, Hutch. This is the elephant in the room.
Be more specific. There's about
there's drama.
Yeah, go ahead.
To hear as I understand them, the accusations from both sides. Accusation against Hutch, we'll start with that one, is Hutch spends too much time shitting on lefties who are going after Trump. That's the accusation. And then the accusation from Hutch is, you guys don't actually care about any of it.
Wait. No, hang on. Rephrase that. That's not true.
That's the accusation. No, you can deny it. I'm just saying that's the accusation.
No. How did you phrase that, though? Did you say lefties that are going after
Hutch
Trump?
spends too much time going after lefties who are attacking Trump.
What?
You never heard this?
Who are
you never heard people say this, Stevie?
I heard Hutch is going after the lefties so much, but these lefties are not attacking Trump very much. So I don't know about that part.
You don't think? Hang on. You don't think people are claiming that what Hutch's criticism is counterproductive to the goals of
sure.
Like,
the last part, they are attacking Trump is the part we disagree with. I don't think these lefties go after Trump very much.
You can disagree with whether the accusation is true.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that they're saying that why are you attacking Hassan? He's spending all this time going after Trump. Why are you attacking? Are
you denying that you're accused of that?
I understand the way that you phrase it in that way. I would take issue with the premise because if this was just a lefty going after Trump, what fucking issue do I have with that? The only time I go after lefties is when I feel like they're helping Republicans and Trump.
You can like fight the accusation, but the accusation is being made. That's all I'm saying, right?
That's I just find it disingenuous framing. That's all. Like you're attacking lefties that are going after Trump. I'm not attacking.
Do you think that people are accusing you of that? I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just saying, do you think people accuse you of that?
I mean, it's
I think
bullshit
so.
for
In
sure.
general, the
Yeah.
accusations are generally Hutch punches left more than he punches right. That is in general. It has little to do
But
with
the obvious implication of that is it's counterproductive towards the threat of like Trump and fascism. Like that's their point. What do you say? Sure, like that. That's the fucking accusation. You can just say it's not true.
No, but not if it's not counterproductive if you hold the view that I do, which is that these lefties are helping MAGA.
I know you disagree with the accusation.
Yeah,
I'm just laying out that is the accusation.
Okay,
Right?
wait.
Or do we- is that a problem?
While Hutch is on the hot seat, we got a super chatter says, do you see trolley problems all the way down, and do you know about the horizon effect or the disadvantages of greedy algorithms?
Nope.
I guess he
Well,
doesn't.
this
You're gonna
guy
have to.
talking-
What's he
I
saying?
know what a greedy algorithm is in terms of software engineering. It's like a way to. It's hard to explain. It doesn't matter. The point is, maybe this has something to do with like often Hutch will put everything into a dichotomy. It's like we either do this or this, and one is utilitarianly better, and maybe there's some disadvantage to doing this all the way down. But maybe he can elucidate in a different chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's
I
the
think Hutch
accusation
is worried-
against you.
Hutch is worried about our brothers to the left who are lost, and he's just trying to reach out to them and with an olive branch. That's all, and trying to bring them back to the flock. That's what I think.
No.
So respond to it.
As I said, my view of things is that, like, I think if Hassan stopped covering politics tomorrow, and the same goes for Kyle Kulinski, frankly, I think it would net votes for Democrats.
Damn.
So I think that my view of
Damn. But also true. But damn. He threw the Kalinsky in there as well. Holy fucking. Oh my God.
them. Now we can debate that. That's fine. We can have good faith debate and we can get into the minutia about that. But that's what I believe. And so when I go after these lefties, like for example, Sean the Black, this guy, like he posted a tweet. The Democrats said something like, you know, ICE are bad, or I don't know what they said. And he quote retweeted them and said, you voted to fund this. First of all, the Democrats, not a single Democrat voted for the one big beautiful bill, which is what added all that extra
Jared
funding
Golden
and created it and created a
I think Jared Golden did. Yeah.
I don't think he voted for the one big beautiful bill. Could be wrong about that. So first of all, he's just wrong on the facts. But second of all,
No way he voted for that.
if you do a cursory search of Sean the Black's tweets, you'll see that he did not vote
Oh,
for
never
Kamala
mind.
Harris.
I'm sorry.
So, you know, get fucked. Like if you're going to spend your time on social media actively trying to tear down the Democratic Party candidate, you are actively helping Republicans win elections. You are complicit in 14 million projected dead from USAID cuts. The 2 people in Minneapolis would still be alive if people like you made better decisions. And they're going to keep doing it. And so, like, they act like opposition. And then when I treat them like opposition, the way that they behave, the way that they market themselves, they want to clutch their pearls and tell me that I'm being mean and counterproductive. Excuse me. My whole brand is I fucking hate Republicans, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to convince people to support every Democrat on every ticket for the rest of their lives. That's my entire fucking brand, bro. So if you're going to accuse me of being complicit in fascism when you are literally the reason why those people are dead in Minneapolis, you can get fucked. That's my position on that.
Wait, I need to jump in real quick here, because even though I mostly almost 100% agree with Hutch, you're the reason they're dead, I think, is like the most inflammatory part of that. Because yeah, sure, they didn't help. They actively are hurting and driving voter apathy. But it's Trump and the admin is the reason they're dead.
Did you vote for Kamala Harris? No? Then you are part of the reason why those people are dead. You are
You
directly
can assign a hierarchy of blame, right? Like, are we going to blame leftists if Trump does a fascism? Like, no, it's Trump, right? Like, Republicans aren't just a force of nature. There are people actively making decisions that we should call out. And to say that, go ahead.
It's too attenuated is the point that's being made.
Are voters not responsible for the outcomes of elections?
Sure, of course.
Okay, then they are partly. Then stop holding these people's hands. They are part of the reason why those 2 people are dead.
Who's holding their hands? Who's holding their hands?
This is when people frame it like, I know you guys aren't doing it, but like the pushback I get a lot is like, well, what choice did they have given Kamala's position on Gaza? It's like, what do you mean? What choice did they have? They decided to not vote for Kamala Harris. They knew what Donald Trump was telegraphing 1,000 miles away. They evaluated the risk, and at best, they were indifferent to Trump winning and the consequences thereafter.
I want to hear non-Fon's response, and then I want to say something to you, Hutch.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hutch is valid for going after lefties just because lefties have bad policy. Okay, that's my opinion. But I mean, I think I will say it's not clear to me whether or not Hassan would net Democratic votes if he quit streaming. That's not clear to me. But like I do, like I think you should vote based on who has the highest expected value, essentially. And insofar as Hutch is advocating for that and condemning people who don't do that, I think that's voting based on expected value is what the trolley problem thing was insinuating earlier. I support Hutch's movement in doing that.
That's good. Well, listen, Hutch, I want to take what you just said though. On the hypocrisy stuff, no doubt. But aren't you analyzing 2 different actions, which is your action justified in virtue of what the political conditions are, and is their vote justified? And one could come to the conclusion, I'm not saying it's my conclusion, let me be clear, that both them, in withholding their vote and shitting on Kamala, did something wrong, but also you did, and that wouldn't be inconsistent. And just saying, well, you guys are worse, that's not responsive to, is what I'm doing helpful?
I don't know if I said they're worse than MAGA, but mathematically they're the same. They have the same impact as a MAGA voter.
You understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, my argument right now is that's not responsive to the claim. The claim is you're hurting the fight against Trump.
I disagree.
By attacking lefties. Right now, but all I'm saying is you're responsible.
Somebody said, I honestly feel that the amount of impact those 2 have is minimal. The issue I feel you have is they are the most vocal and popular about it. They are part of the left-wing side of the misinformation, which is bad. That's true. So the 2 biggest annoying things about these tankies is that one, people on the right point to them as examples of our side, which is not true. They'll point to anybody anyway, but like it's harder to disavow like real people that are part of your side, so like Hassan. And then two, those people hate the Democratic Party. So you get in this weird cucked world where if I'm talking about politics, I want to do one of two things. I either want to defend the Democratic perspective or I want to attack the Republican perspective. Those are like the two things that I'd be interested in from like a partisan perspective. I don't want to be fighting against some uber left wing that thinks that I'm the same as the Republican Party, that's also sometimes representing my entire side when they shouldn't, who's a minority who doesn't care about electoral power. I have no interest. They should just call themselves something else. They should be a different party and call themselves something else, and then I have no problem with it. But it's annoying to pretend like we're one and the same. I don't want to waste any time appealing to these people that are always going to view you as the same as a fascist. It's fucking retarded.
As in vote for Kamala isn't responsive to that claim. Is it? It's like you're a hypocrite for even accusing me. How dare you accuse me?
You can judge me by my actions. I have always, as soon as I started covering politics on all of my channels, I have always taken the position of, you guys, the Republican Party are getting worse and worse and worse. This is really bad. We are well beyond Obama versus fucking Mitt Romney in 2012. They cannot be allowed to have power. And I don't care how you feel about the Democratic Party. If you want to join this movement and stop them from doing these awful things, straight ticket Democrat, blue no matter who, you ignore people that call you a shill. Do you want this to stop? Then join this movement or be someone that helps Republicans win elections. Those are this is a binary choice.
The question is shitting on Kyle Kalinske. So the question is shitting on Kyle Kalinske helping Republicans win elections?
PISSCO, what do you think of the fact that Kyle Kalinske said on his YouTube channel last week that Gavin Newsom vetoed a single-payer healthcare bill in California? That did not happen.
True. Okay, if it happened, I can do that.
He said that. And do you know why I think that's bad? What is, before Israel-Palestine, what is the number one issue that Kyle Kalinske and his group of people focused on?
Medicare
Corruption,
yes,
Trump. Medicare for all, right? So what is he telling me? It goes beyond just it being a false claim. He is telling his audience that Gavin Newsom committed a mortal sin according to their priorities in politics for the last 10 years.
Kyle would tell people to go out and vote for Gavin if he was in the general.
You are delusional.
You wouldn't?
You are delusional if you think, you guys, listen, I will believe it when I see it, okay?
Did he do that for Kamala?
No, he did not. I do not believe that he endorsed Kamala Harris. Absolutely. He endorsed Jill Stein, you guys.
No, that was previous year. That was previous.
No,
that was previous year.
In May of 2024, he endorsed Jill Stein.
Really?
Yes.
He was on for Marianne too, right?
Yes, and they were hyping up Marianne Williamson. He says that he's changing
in the primary or in
the general, bro. In the general
primary.
In the general.
Wait, hold on. Fuck, even I didn't know that. Wait, is that true? Did Kyle Kalinske endorse not Kamala Harris on the primary?
General, he said he had her on his program and endorsed Jill Stein. That's what he did after 4 years of Donald Trump. So I'm sorry. He says he'd support Joe Manchin if he was the nominee in 2028. I will fucking believe it when I see it because I am not taking him at his word. I'm
seeing some evidence he didn't. Okay, but if he does, so you think it's possible he won't endorse the Democratic nominee if it's Gavin Newsom, right?
Absolutely.
It's in his DNA to attack the Democratic establishment candidate. Someone like Gavin's going to be piss him off. But listen, I applaud Hutch for trying to help our brethren to the left who are far gone. But 90% of them end up voting for Democrats, so I'm not even worried about it. I think Hutch does it because he enjoys it, fighting with them. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But there's almost 100 million people, almost 100 million. That
IRA is correct. IRA is correct.
I focus my attacks on people with platforms, with people in positions of influence. It's true I'd argue with random people on Twitter, but in terms of like what I prioritize, if you have a platform and you're using that platform to obfuscate, speaking of which, PISSCO, the Vanguard boys, they said some very questionable shit in your conversation. They're part of this as well. They're part of this as well. They said that Josh Shapiro covered up a murder, bro. You understand that?
We're gonna talk about that. I know they said that. But we're gonna talk about it.
All it takes to debunk that fucking lunacy is like a cursory Google search, bro. These people are lazy, destructive arsonists. Okay?
So the question is, by you spending your time attacking Kyle Kalinske, attacking Crystal Ball, and attacking the Vanguard, do you think that is maximizing your ability to stop fascism? That's the question.
Yep, I do.
The answer is yes, because you think by attacking Kyle Kalinske, it's going to do what? In virtue of what?
I want to peel as many people away from that lunacy as I possibly can. That will net us votes and that will increase. You can have your people like Brian Tyler Cohen and Josiah that focus 100% of their attacks on Republicans. That's fine. What is wrong with me? Like the fact that you take issue with me calling them out and not the fact that Kyle.
When you walk into a Burlington,
Oh, yeah, dude, 100%. Let's talk about this because our man Kyle, look, we love growth, man. I love growth. And I love to see people who change their mind to agree with us. And every once in a while, I get to feel like maybe we had a little bit to do with that. I don't think we had a lot to do with it this time. I think mostly the horrible things happening in Palestine had most of what to do with this. But I like to think that we'd already kind of softened the runway a little bit. We were like, you know what, Kyle? Here's why we think Joe Biden sucks bad. And he was like, no, I'm a Biden bro now. I'm really into this guy. He's exceeded my expectations across the board. And we were like, Kyle, he's gonna let you down. Just don't trust him. I know, things are looking, not as bad as they could have been, but don't worry. He's a Democrat. He is going to show you his stripes, bro. He's going to fuck it all up. He's going to do something hot.
And as if Kyle Kalinske is some like blue no matter who, Dean
Biden, bro. But the last time we argued, the dude was like, I'm fucking stoked and jazzed about Biden. For sure. Anyway, that was, look, Kyle's a bona fide lefty, bro. Like, and I voted for Biden last time, and I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So everything that I'm saying about him is also true about me. That's why I was saying I was happy to see another soldier that's been recruited to the cause, man. It's good to see. And I think that we've all just come to the point where, look, I think that Kyle has made a lot of really valid criticisms of the Green Party and how we need ranked choice voting and how voting third party oftentimes does feel like a waste. But at another point, and I've heard Kyle say this too, at some point you're just not fucking getting my vote. You know what I mean? You're just not fucking getting it. And I think we're all back at that point where we're like, you know what? We tried to be fair. We looked around and we just said, fuck, the options aren't great, but let's just plug our nose and maybe go along with it and see if we can't extract a little bit and try and be happy with it. And when we realized no, they were just going to shit in our mouths, they were going to piss on our legs.
In LRB is facilitate kind of starts to look a little bit more trivial, even though it's not. Obviously, it's not. But you know what I'm saying? It does get to a point where it's like, no, I'm not giving my vote to this person. I'm simply not giving my vote to this person given what's happening right now. And I'm interested to take a look here at what Kyle has to say about Dr. Stein and his decision to, I guess, endorse her. Although I don't think he specifically uses those exact words, but about as close as you can get.
To me, it's equally shocking and uplifting and so energizing to see people like Crystal Ball. And Kyle Kalinske giving their endorsement to our work together here.
Sorry, I was on a business call. I'm curious, did the Vanguard do an election day stream? And if they did, when Kamala lost, were they giddy or were they sad?
Put an end to genocide. So I'm not sure who is going to switch us to that short video. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Nada.
Hey guys, it's Kyle Kalinske here from The Kyle Kalinske Show and Secular Talk on YouTube and also Crystal Kyle and Friends. I want to wish Jill Stein a very, very happy birthday. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there with you tonight, but I wanted to lend a message of support. So we had her on the show the other day, and she really opened my eyes to a number of very disturbing things. First of all, to show you how terrible mainstream media is and how much they bury stories. I hadn't even heard of the fact that Jill Stein was assaulted at pro-Palestine protests, and then cops had the nerve to charge her
in St. Louis.
Yep. This is a presidential candidate and a woman who's over the age of 70, and they're so extreme and so egregious and so brazen.
And a Jewish woman, by the way. The cops brutalized a Jewish woman in St. Louis and charged
Jewish
her.
doctor.
Yeah, yeah, but it's the left who's anti-Semitic.
That they charge her with assault when all she's doing is standing on the right side of history. Look, it reminds me of what happened during the anti-Iraq war protests. It reminds me of what happened during the anti-Vietnam war protests. It reminds me of what happened during the civil rights movement. The people who are on the correct side, the people who are doing the right thing in the moment, they get viciously smeared. And in this instance, also literally assaulted. So I heard that story, and it was grotesque, man. It was grotesque. And Jill also made another good point about how New York is effectively trying to keep the Green Party off the ballot by using dirty tricks. This is another thing that I was unfamiliar with.
I know exactly. I forgot about this. Our homie Jason Call, who's the campaign manager, obviously, for Dr. Stein, was talking about how they're basically having fake people go out and collect signatures for RFK and Dr. Stein, people who aren't affiliated with the Green Party or RFK's movement. And basically what that will do is it will tie them up in a bunch of legal hassles. They'll say, oh, look at all these illegal signatures that they got. Oh, we have to go through all of them. Meanwhile, through dark channels, the Democrats have been paying people to go do that illegal shit so that it gets tied up. They don't care. It was kind of like what we talked about with Matthew Ho, right? Shout out to Matthew Ho. He got in a huge legal battle in what was it, North Carolina? I believe I was in North Carolina for far longer than I wanted to yesterday during a layover. Jesus Christ, what's matter there? Anyway, he told us they don't care if they lose the decision. They know they're going to lose the decision. What they're doing is illegal. They're happy to eventually confess to that and pay whatever fines are imposed. But the idea is that it will tie up our campaign. It will tie up our resources. It will make it harder for us.
Shame to say that me, as somebody in media, I didn't even know about that, right? Jill also wanted to make another phenomenal point about anti-war. So again, I want to wish Jill a very, very happy birthday. I want her to know that she has my support. I think she's very brave for running in this environment, in this climate. And look, bottom line is, there is one candidate in this race who is both on the ballot and anti-war. And we all know who that is. Donald Trump likes to pretend he's anti-war. He's not. Sometimes Biden likes to pretend he's anti-war. He's clearly not. He's arming and funding a genocide right now. Cornel West, I'm not sure he's going to get on that many ballots. And RFK, don't get me started.
Don't get me started.
Like he's the most anti-war, but he's also in favor of Netanyahu committing a genocide and us arming and funding it.
I would like to pause for a moment. We look at this man, the Nazi archetype here, blonde hair, and he wants to talk about how I'm pro-war for announcing Israel's right to defend its. I'm appalled.
Oh, sorry, RFK, our internet. It happens, I think, when I run my phone off, when I have to, with our internet, because the campaign, they just get in here. So it's an odd phenomenon. But anyway, go on. Sorry, guys.
Palestinians on a regular basis. So from where I'm sitting, from my perspective, there's one candidate in this race that's doing the right thing and standing on the right issues. And, look, fighting for it at a time that's important historically where nobody else is stepping up and doing the right thing. And so, again, very happy birthday to Jill Stein. Sorry I couldn't be there with you guys today.
Maybe he changed, because this was in May. Maybe by November he changed who he endorsed. Maybe, hopefully.
Al Kalinske is telling, how many fucking views does that video have? 250,000 views? And he's telling his audience that Gavin Newsom vetoed single payer in California?
Here's the difference. Here's the difference.
Destructive.
Here's the
That is
difference.
destructive.
Here's the difference. I think on net, Kyle Kalinske is a benefit to our effort to stop Trump. Whether or not a particular video I would think is bad doesn't really matter on that.
I don't agree.
Like Guy, and Guy's been rolled over a couple times.
I mean, I agree. I think Kyle will come through in the end, but I don't have a problem with what Hutch does at all. I would never engage with the leftists. To me, it's more about like their lives suck, and so they're looking for something to blame a boogeyman like capitalism or whatever, the establishment. So you're not going to get through to them unless you just put some change in their pocket and give them something to look forward to. But I think the bigger picture for me is the almost 100 million who didn't even vote in the election. I'd rather go after them. They seem a lot easier to win over than somebody who's some ogre boy weirdo who's got their heels dug in and, you know, just wants to suck on Hassan's.
Yeah, like fucking rile your base up. Like, target your base, activate your base. Give them a strong left-leaning option to vote for, not this, like, constant cuckoldry to these far lefty losers that are never going to really ardently support your candidate anyway.
Knob, you know what I mean?
All right, so to the point there, I agree. We need to capitalize on that, but I think what these lefties do is promote voter apathy by saying both parties are the same. Like, if you come out and say, hey, I know this is awful and people are getting shot by ICE, but remember Ferguson? Like,
but Kyle doesn't do that. But Kyle does not do that.
I'm not talking about Kyle right now. I'm putting this on video, but it's like the idea that somehow you can compare the executive branch putting a department into a place that's causing this chaos and incompetence with state police is insane. It's just not all these same things, and there's like all the like Hutch said, these cursory Google searches of just how these things work immediately dispel them. And if you're able to lie with basically impunity, like if people like Hutch didn't call it out, then you do just drive this insane, like, well, nothing's ever going to change. We just need to wait for the revolution. We got to firebomb the Walmart, and it never comes. And then fascist take power. Like, it is important.
You're pressing me harder than you press Vanguard after they accused David Pacman.
Oh my God! Get over yourself. What the fuck?
This is actually true, bro. You are pressing me.
Jesus Christ! How am I pressing you? How am I pressing you?
You are accusing me of wasting my time and going after people who.
I'm asking a question,
and you're pressing me harder than Vanguard when they accused David Pacman of being paid to celebrate genocide. Is what they said. They said that he got paid to celebrate genocide, and you.
First of all, you're factually wrong. I did contest the claim. Will you retract the claim? Will you retract the claim that I didn't contest the ideological connection between Chorus? In fact, I brought up Chorus in the first instance. Will you retract? Will you take the moment? Hutch, will you take the moment right now to retract your claim that I didn't contest the fact that there's an ideological imposition?
I said you're pressing me harder than you press them.
How am I pressing you? How am I pressing you?
Now you're doing this.
How am I pressing you? I'm asking.
You're not pressing me here. You're not pressing me on this.
By asking you whether or not you think, just elucidating the view that Kyle Kalinske is net bad for the Democrats, just asking that question is pressing you.
You say stuff like Kyle Kalinske. He doesn't do that. What do you mean he doesn't do that? In 2016,
that's pressing you.
Hold on, 2016, he would.
Like there's so many meta conversations. I don't understand how. Like, what counts as pressing? Jesus.
Bernie or bust. In 2020, he was on election night on Joe Rogan's podcast. Joe Rogan asked him who he voted for. He said, nobody, I don't vote for war criminals. Okay? After 4 years of Trump, he said that. In 2024, he endorsed Jill fucking Stein. And you want me to give him credit for kind of going after MAGA kind of hard when it's like in vogue right now? What was he doing?
I'm saying since the new administration. So first of all,
there's also, I want to address this bullshit, like supports one person in the primaries and supports someone else in the general. I think you can support a more left option or support somebody different in the primaries. I think that's totally fine, but it can't be with the craziest rhetoric that is also comprised of lies at the same time, right? Like, well, do I want John or Jane to win the election? I mean, like, I'll support either one, but in the primaries, I'm going to vote for John. So if Jane wins the primaries, I'll vote for Jane in the general, but I support John. Also, Jane is a serial puppy rapist. I don't really have any proof of that, but she's a serial puppy rapist, genocidal freak who steals from cancer-ridden children also. And then it's like, okay, well, ignoring the fact that what you're saying is a lie, you have put such an extreme position on the table. Like, how the fuck are you ever going to support these people in the general? You're telling me that the person that you're accusing of being the genocidal puppy rapist murderer that steals from cancer-ridden kids, that person is going to be the one you're going to support in the general? Really? Like, and that's your position in the primary? Like, it's just stupid. Like, you think Josh Shapiro covered up or facilitated a murder or whatever? You're going to support that guy in the general? Like, yeah, it's cringe.
First of all, the claim is I'm pressing you and I'm treating you so horribly. Like, you're like, oh my God, I'm being so mean to you right now.
PISSCO is like delusional right now. Hutch never said that. Hutch just said you're pressing me harder than you press the Vanguard guys, which is probably true because he didn't really press them almost much at all. And now he's like losing his mind on this.
Why didn't you ask them? Don't you think you're hurting the Democratic Party by saying stuff like
the first topic of our entire the first topic was entirely monopolized by the quote-unquote elephant in the room about whether or not they're willing to support and endorse Democrats. At the end of the conversation, they say, we are going to endorse the Democrats.
Yeah, after
they have views of genocide.
Up a murder and, like Gavin Newsom killing babies or whatever.
Which immediately I said, I don't agree. Let's have a conversation about that at a later time. But I'm now being mean to you. I don't understand that. Like, I went through the whole virtue signal. I went through the whole virtue signal thing with the Vanguard.
You're not hurting my feelings. Truly, I like these exchanges. I don't mind them, and we can move on after this. But like,
and PISSCO, I do expect it. I love Hutch, but just to be clear, he's just saying,
I do love Hutch.
It seems like you're diving more deeply into the ideology that Hutch is doing, and I don't think you're being mean. But
give me a break.
I don't know what your Vanguard thing, but it seems like you didn't ask even follow-up questions or kind of like stay on these topics with them. Is that kind of what you're saying, Hutch? Is that it?
No, you could have gone harder. You could have gone harder.
Wait, so the critique as I understand it, not that PISSCO agrees with it, just the one he raised is that like Hutch attacking the lefties is like negative expected value, but he, in with regard to Democrats winning, but like,
I didn't even assert that. I'm just wondering whether or not he agrees with the. I didn't assert. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, this is the.
I feel like I would have to go back and listen, but I feel like that was basically what PISSCO was asserting, right? Don't you feel like you attacking the left is doing more harm than good, or that do you really think that's a good use of your platform? I feel like to say that that's not what you're heavily implying is a little disingenuous, but I don't know.
So we're having a. I don't think he crashed out. Okay, cool.
No, he didn't. It did that.
Yeah, something's happening. Yeah. I was just there was a topic that was going to be introduced about lefties and about Hassan. And I'm like, this is the accusation. I want to hear what you have to respond. And then Hutch said, I actually think it would be better off for Democrats if these people weren't like influenced in stuff. That's something I disagree with, and I'm just disagreeing with it as IRI is. And I just don't think that that is like pressing Hutch in a way that I like didn't press Vanguard. I just think I'm just like I don't agree, and I certainly said I don't agree with the Vanguard with stuff they said.
Listen, I'll be fair, and I'll say, because I told my chat, I was like, listen, you're not always going to take the same tone. Sometimes if you're having some conversations on some platforms, it makes sense to take a different tone. And so, like, I really was balancing that. Like, I understand that that's probably what you were doing in that spot. And so maybe there's value there. But there was another part of me, too, that watched that conversation, and there were a few moments where I would have pushed back, like, way fucking harder. Like, the fact that they accused David Pakman of being paid to celebrate genocide, and then you actually, to your credit, you actually said, wait, hold on. And you called him out on that, and then he immediately 180'd. That fucking Gavin idiot immediately 180'd and said, I didn't say that.
Yeah,
he said it literally 5 seconds before.
Well, I think, I think that was a weak claim.
Like, I'm just asking you, like, who do you think is doing more damage to Democratic Party prospects? Me for focusing on lefties that I think are way out of their, like, completely untethered from reality and their quote unquote like criticisms of Democrats. It's not a criticism to say that Josh Shapiro covered up a murder.
I don't think you're doing much damage at all, Hutch.
That is smearing a Democratic Party.
Oh my God, he did the thing. Why does everybody do the thing?
I don't think you're doing. If you're asking my opinion, Hutch, I don't think you're doing much damage at all. I think if anything, the only criticism that maybe could be levied at you is like an opportunity cost of like what.
Just asking a question. No. It's where you like you don't answer the question and you say something that's non sequitur, like it doesn't logically follow, or it's non-responsive to the question, right? Like, who do you think is taller, me or Bill Clinton? And then you're like, oh well, I don't think you're that tall at all. It's like, what? I don't know who you're talking to. That wasn't responsive to my question at all. That had nothing to do with what I just asked. Like you asked, like, who do you think is I think Hutch said, who do you think is doing more damage, A or B, me or the Vanguard? And then PISSCO was like, well, I don't think you're doing much damage at all. Like that's not at all responsive to the question. Like, why?
It's a better use of time, but I don't think you're doing any damage.
It's just,
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you give them too much credit, man. Like these people don't have that much influence, man. I'm telling you. It's you might maybe disagree with me, but like the Vanguard boys and Kyle Kalinske are not determining the election. Man.
Kyle Kalinske gets like 40 million views a month.
It doesn't matter.
Shitting on Trump. Shitting on Trump. Putting the spotlight on Trump's like horrible shit. And this is one of the reasons why like
I just told you that Kyle Kalinske told his audience last week that Gavin Newsom vetoed single payer in California. Almost any.
Like if anything, it's even worse that Kyle Kalinske is also attacking Trump. Like you almost just want him to just be like on his own island because you don't want people getting lured into like, oh, this guy's going after Trump. That's based. That's cool. Okay. And then also, wow, Gavin Newsom is anti-healthcare. Okay. Wow. Okay. I didn't know this bad stuff about Gavin Newsom, you know, like, it's not good.
Time. He talks about Democrats. It's in a negative context. Almost any time, bro.
He and Crystal did endorse Jill Stein in May of 2024, which is, I didn't know this. And I guess I retract my statement of, I don't think Kyle would do that. That's insane that they did
I didn't make that shit up. He does it every time. And so I'm sorry. I don't believe him when he says he'll fucking support the nominee. If it's Newsom, no. He's like, he's going to shift the goalpost and be like, you know what? It's no longer Trump, so the stakes aren't as high. That's what he's going to do. It's so fucking predictable.
Yeah. So like, I am totally, go ahead.
Well, I think these third-party voters, they're never going to vote for Democrats. Same thing with on the right. They have these libertarian weirdos that will never vote for Republicans either. That's all.
I was going to say,
probably, yeah, sure. This is somewhat a different topic. And the obligation to like actually fight the lefties on policy issues, when I talk to lefty people, it's almost always about my issues with the actual policies, instead of like just trying to get them to vote for Democrats. Even though maybe I should be getting them to vote for Democrats.
I'm constantly fighting on policy with these people.
Is there a non-fighting way like that we could also like spend our time? Like this person brings up an interesting question. Like if we look at the things that we probably agree with, like you liked Mamdani, you endorsed Mamdani, and it's like, is there some of this stuff where we're not capitulating to their, I'm holding my vote out for a concession, but we're like, hey, is there some portion that we can bleed off of the Kyle Kalinskis or the Hassan voters where we say, oh, you know what, that's a good idea. Let's get some like Medicare reforms or let's do the XYZ, and we don't have to constantly be infighting, but we can still bleed off the ones who are like otherwise would just be like, I'm not voting. They're not doing anything I want. Is that even something we can focus on?
I don't think there's a passive way to engage with like Hassan Piker a couple days ago was interviewed by, I don't even know.
Like imagine you have a group of people who are very strong, and you have a group of people who are very strong, and you're building a house. You're building daycares, and sometimes you're upgrading daycares, and that's what you guys do. And then there's another group of people, the other guys, but they're also like all like they're like the pedophiles are us group, okay? But they're very strong, and you're building daycares, and you're like, okay. they're stronger. They could help us build daycares and upgrade the existing daycares. They're also pedophiles, so they could, you know, fuck the kids. But they're strong. They're mean builders. They can build a lot. But they also could, like, fuck the kids. What if we could just get, like, some of them? Like, what the fuck is this conversation? If you had a doubt in your mind as to who you were supporting coming into 2024, you're irrelevant. You're not I shouldn't say you're irrelevant. You're just, that's not a Democrat. You're something else. And you're not interested in playing in the game of politics. You're doing something else. Let those people go do their own thing. Don't appeal to them. Don't identify with them. Try not to let them identify with you. Separate from them and let them do their own thing. Because that's why fight the group of pedophiles, you know, instead of just going to find other strong builders who might be out there who just aren't activated.
Some like pro-Assad, like Syrian like news thing or whatever. And they asked him about, I don't know what they asked him about, but he said straight up, like, you know, a lot of people think the Democrats are opposed to police brutality, but, you know, Ferguson happened when Obama was president, which is a statement that is so fucking meaningless that it insults my intelligence. It happened when Obama was president. What the
he
fuck
personally
does that have to do with
directed those
Barack Obama? That
police.
was an issue of the local police department. And do you know what the Obama administration did? Eric Holder and the DOJ at the time investigated the Ferguson Police Department, and they forced a consent decree enforced by a judge to implement reforms at that police department. And do you know what the Trump administration did when they murdered 2 people in Minneapolis?
Reassign
they said
them.
the people were fucking terrorists and ICE agents. You have immunity. Go nuts.
Yep.
And Hassan's out here saying, like, you know, a lot of people think Democrats are different on ICE.
No, wait. Hutch,
Yeah,
I agree with this criticism 100%.
Didn't I bring that up in the
ridiculous.
Vanguard conversation? I'm pretty sure I brought that up.
I didn't get through the whole thing. I didn't get through the
I think
whole
it was
thing.
near the beginning. One of the first things I brought up was the fact that he was doing this false equivalence bullshit with one of this interview shit. I was like, I get it. No, that's fucking stupid. It's wrong. And the false equivalence bullshit is pathetic. I just like would distinguish someone like that from Kyle Kalinske. I think Kyle Kalinske and Vanguard, they don't do the false equivalence shit. And it's not just me who says that. Like, if my opinion doesn't mean anything, Josiah also says that. Do you think Josiah is wrong about that?
Yeah, I think you're both wrong.
Wait, PISSCO, I mean, just addressing the fact we just showed the tweet where he's endorsing the Green Party in the year where
I know. Yes, I agree. That they have
not a false equivalency. If you're unwilling to endorse,
100. No, the third party bullshit. And that's, by the way, this is to the credit of the Vanguard over Kyle Kalinske and Crystal Ball in that moment, that they have always been against the third party grift, have always thought it's stupid, et cetera, et cetera.
That's not true, by the way.
Why are you rolling your fucking eyes?
It's not true. That's not true.
So show me when the Vanguard endorsed the third party.
Look it up. There's a conversation that they had with Vosh, and Vosh had to walk them like babies through the logic of not voting for third party. It was early 2024. Vosh was the one that convinced them to stop fucking entertaining.
In 2024, they were shitting on the people who were organizing the third party stuff. I saw them do it. All right, I mean,
they shifted. I'm just saying, but we're not always opposed to third party shit. That's just not true.
I have seen them call out the third party bullshit.
You can go look at it, but I want to go back to my question because I truly want to know if this is even viable and if this is something that like Hutch or any of us could spend more of our time on. Because as much as I am all for calling people out, like doing this, I agree with your criticism 100%. Is there not, like, IRI has this mentality, I like it, where it's just like, you know, we're coalescing the Democrat period, the left period against the forces of evil. I don't give a fuck. We're doing whatever we can to win. And I respect that to a degree. Is
that really what IRI's? Maybe I'm misinterpreting or somebody's autistic here, but my feeling is that IRI has like such insane, intense derision for these lefties that he just pretends they don't exist, basically. The vibe or the feeling I got from IRI is that he fucking hates these people. He thinks they're delusional, like, idiots, and that's... You don't appeal to them, you don't talk about them, you don't talk to them, and you just don't even consider them. So I don't know where the soy pill is getting, like, oh, he wants to work with everybody. I think IR is like, if you want to come along, that's great, but he's not going to waste any time appealing to you, which I think is the correct choice, but...
not a way to capitalize and almost undermine the message that the parties are the same by stealing some of the best ideas from the left-wing politicians who are winning.
Don't you think that...
Oh my God.
Don't you think that... Don't you think that different people...
question.
Hang on. Don't you think that different people can wear different hats?
No, sure. I'm just saying, can't we do both? Like, we could wear two hats.
can.
I have several hats to wear.
But okay, if that's the case, then you should criticize David Pakman, or mostly David Pakman and Josiah and Brian Tyler Cohen, who focus 100% on Trump stuff. They're wearing that hat. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That connects with their audience. They're good at that. They like diving into those things. That's their strength. Go for it.
Well, then past the pundit phrase, just the Democratic Party. Is there ways that we can undermine this movement without criticism? You know, like, of course, you know, I think people are like, yeah, if you go and disavow Hassan at the DNC, like, that'll really get more voters. What about taking some of the best parts of what Mamdani did and integrating that into the left-wing party and saying, hey, people...
Mamdani is nothing like these fucking idiots. Mamdani is actually smart. Mamdani is actually smart. He's actually a smart guy. That's why he doesn't do this stupid shit.
True.
No,
that's why I like Mamdani, because he's a Democrat. He's a proud Democrat.
You tell me, how do I civilly engage with someone who accuses Josh Shapiro of covering up a murder?
I mean,
what's a nice way of
engaging? Do you civilly engage? Do you civilly engage with counterpoints?
I rarely talk to counterpoints. I don't know the last time I talked to him.
Oh my God, dude, it drives me crazy. I don't know if it's true or not. Counterpoints is a conservative. Counterpoints is not a Democrat. Counterpoints is allowed to have I wouldn't give a fuck what Counterpoints believes in because he's not on my quote unquote my team, right? That's fine if Counterpoints wants to support some completely and totally otherworldly shit. He's not a Democrat. I don't have to pretend he is. I don't have to answer for his beliefs. Like, it's not even remotely the same. I don't even know why you would ask that question.
Would you? So you don't civilly engage with people who say absurd shit sometimes?
No, I don't generally.
I don't understand this. Like
you know
purity
me,
testing
you know
it reminds me of lefty shit.
Like purity, like what? PISSCO is so hungry for like a debate bro win here. Like, oh, purity testing. Connor is a conservative. Connor is not a Democrat. What is the purity test? He's not on the same team. What?
It sounds like purity testing. Like, yeah, they could be totally out to sea on the Josh Shapiro shit and on accusations. They also in the course of our conversation accused Kamala of engaging in a genocide. But
purity testing is whether or not you want to stop Trump, not like, hey, do you have this one policy I want or not? It's not a single issue voter. If the single issue is, are you going to vote? Like, right? Like it's the complete opposite.
So I don't even understand the question. Can you repeat it one more time? Sorry.
What you're saying, it reminds you of purity testing of the left, but purity testing of the left comes from, well, I like XYZ, blah, 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 but they're not for single payer, I'm not going to vote for them, which is what we're opposed to. And their Hutch's purity testing is...
Oh, so what's the analog? Okay. So no, the purity test is, how do I even engage with someone who thinks Josh Shapiro covered up a murder? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, how do you engage with anybody? Civilly engage with someone? Like, I civilly...
How do I civilly engage with... He's using Connor Points as the example. Connor Points is not a Democrat. It's easy to civilly engage with him. He can say whatever. He's not on your team.
IRI is a perfect example. Guess what? IRI interacts with people who say absurd shit all the time, engages with them.
Oh my God, they're on the other team. Those are debates. What is he talking about? What is his point? This can't be real. This can't be a real point. Can somebody please pick up on this?
We engage on some of the Epstein stuff. Like, there are people whose allegations on some of the Epstein stuff go way past what the evidence shows so far. And they're like, I think that it's been established that it's been a grand conspiracy and Israel's actually covering it up, blah, blah, blah. I still engage with those people, even if they have some absurd opinions. Guess what? It's called America. And so I don't understand why you couldn't...
It's called America? Oh, because Hutch was making the argument that it should be illegal to have those opinions? It's called America? Wait, what?
You couldn't civilly engage with someone who thinks Josh Shapiro covered up a murder, actually. I don't know what the basis of that is.
What if the people that you're engaging with are liars? What if they lie?
What's the lie? What's the lie?
I'm glad you asked. So the Vanguard, for example, in your conversation with them, they said, no, we disavow the crazies, the ones that say voted third party. You know, like, we didn't like voting for Kamala, but we, I get in my I call them out all the time, and my audience calls me.
What's the lie? What's the lie? What's the statement? What's the lie?
If you go to their Twitter feed right now, what is the first thing you see on the top of their feed? That is them retweeting Sean the Black, who is one of those guys who did that shit.
What is the lie?
I've
retweeted Trump supporters before. I've retweeted Trump supporters before.
In the conversation with you, they said that they disavowed the
God.
fringe crazies who did the fucking anti-electoral stuff. That's clearly not true.
Not for who they are, but on those opinions. Hutch, come on. What's the lie? You're saying,
wait a second. To believe that these guys lie. Like, they
what's the lie? What's the fucking lie, Hutch? Identify the statement that's a lie.
They do not. Like,
what's the statement what is the statement that is a lie, Hutch?
I just told you.
They said they disavowed the third party bullshit. That doesn't mean I'll never retweet someone who did that.
Okay.
Wait. Don't just disengage. That's some cock shit right now. Hang on. Don't just disengage with that.
I don't think these are honest actors.
No, hang on. No. So you can say that they have some lies in the past. I'm not saying they've never lied. I'm just saying at this moment, you have not identified a false statement, have you?
When they had the conversation,
have you identified one or not? Have you identified a false statement or not?
You can act dishonestly.
Don't weasel. What's the false statement?
You can act dishonestly without necessarily saying something that's dishonest. Does that make sense? In the conversation you guys were having about the Taylor Lorenz article with Chorus, right? They repeated like 3 things that were totally debunked within 1 day of that story being dropped. Okay, they could have made just a tiny bit of effort to follow up on what people were.
Like, I don't know if Hutch will get to this point or not, but there's a kind of thing. We're talking about a kind of thing that's different. We call them all lies, or we're pretending it's all the same, but it's not really, right? Like, if somebody were to have a conversation with PISSCO and they were like, aren't you not an actual lawyer? Weren't you just like a law student or whatever, right? Somebody might legitimately think that because he doesn't seem to be working as a lawyer now. Maybe that's what they've heard, right? And it's like I could believe that somebody could, in good faith, have that thought. And it doesn't seem like they've done anything like especially egregiously horrible or terrible. But imagine if somebody goes to, PISSCO and they're like, oh, like PISSCO, aren't you like the guy who's pro-murder and you actually supported Democrats like killing Palestinian children in New York City? And I think that's what you did for your law. You defended Israelis that were murdering Palestinians. It's like, wait a second. To pretend that both of these incorrect statements are like the same level of lie is just so stupid. And I don't know if Hutch is going to use the correct words or phrasing to get at this, but that's what he's getting at when he's saying like the Josh Shapiro thing. That's a kind of lie. And you guys know this. If you watch my stream or if you engage with politics for enough time, you hear kinds of lies where it's like, ooh, this is a thing. This is a thing that like this is a propaganda thing. This is not a real thing. Like when somebody says like the election was stolen, that's not like oh, you're just mistaken. That's like you're part of a particular propaganda network and I understand like where you're getting this information from and you're not my friend, right? In a political sense.
Claimed they repeated the lie that Chorus creators had to go through Chorus to schedule any interview with a politician. This was totally debunked within 24 hours. So it gets to a point where if someone is so incurious,
yes,
if someone is like not willing to make the tiniest amount of effort to actually look into the things that they're covering. And
It's
all they're
obvious
pushing
where their
is the same
political
fucking
bend
narrative
is.
bullshit every
Yep,
day.
correct.
I call that dishonesty.
Yes.
I don't think
there's
they're
a
honest
lot.
actors. I don't know why we would spend even a second trying to hurt these people.
Exactly.
Why-
I think there's a
why
lack.
call you a
I'm-
raccoon? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? I'm just asking that. Can you guys hear me or not?
Yeah,
can hear
you're,
you, but there's
you're
a
a
lag.
little, you're a little discombobulated,
shit.
but it's fine.
Hang on, I'm gonna refresh one sec.
Okay.
Okay, well, for
getting
Hutch.
very heated, and
Sorry,
right now
you-
one of the
you
parties is
let
not here.
people talk.
I do want to say this. We're having the Deem on to have to talk about this discussion next week, so I'm sure we'll get more into it, and it'll get even more wild and crazy and annoying.
Does it
And
matter? Testing 1, 2, 3.
and
You're back. And
Vadim and
oh, and Ogre Boy's coming on.
Oh, boys coming on Live and Learn.
and Vadim.
He wants it to be a-
That's gonna be awesome. What a great.
Vadim and Ogre Boy. Jesus. Lib and Learn, the tanky episode. Vadim was the it's not the Curiosity Cat. What the fuck was the thing called? Creationist Cat or whatever?
Oh, you guys should subscribe to the channel.
Oh my
But,
god.
but here, let's hear from our guest. What is
Yes.
your thoughts on this back and forth nonsense?
Listen, I think this is why I like talking about policy, okay? Because I think you can discount a lot of the sort of both parties are the same and like the weird narrative shit, especially if it is true that people like just never look into stuff. Like if you can convince them that like single payer healthcare might not be like super
Yeah, it's different Vadim than from my election stream, correct? Creationist Cat, yeah.
great, that like some of these policies are just like kind of cringe. I think you can make them a lot more comfortable voting for Democrats. And I don't know if it's easier to convince them that these policies are bad than it is to like convince them to vote for Democrats because of the threat of Trump or whatever. But I think you need to be neo-lib pilled, Hutch. And he did go in on Ogre Boy about the elasticity of investment to pharmaceutical companies' revenues.
Well, I want to bring up real quick. I do have to say because the super chat has become elucidated to me. The Horizon effect, the trolley problems. It's this idea that right now we were just presented with a dichotomy. Either Hutch does this or not, or either Hutch goes super hard against them or not. And the Horizon effect is in artificial intelligence. There's so many variables for it to look through, and so it can only narrow this down to like a very small sector, and then look through these. Where if you keep trolley probleming and narrowing everything down, you get super.
Fuck, I don't want to be like a mega hater, but unironically true. PISSCO might unironically be, because they broadcast this on Twitch, don't they? PISSCO might unironically be more damaging for libs than Hassan if he's literally sneaking in tankies like this in one of the few lib spaces remaining on Twitch poll. You say one of the few lib spaces. Isn't this the only lib show on all of Twitch? And it feels like every other week there's like fucking tanky people shitting it up. Like, Jesus, why? I don't know. Maybe they bring on conservatives too? I don't know.
Vision on these are the only two options, and non-con just came in and said, well, what if we have this like policy solution that actually convinces people to come over with, and so like, yeah, you can shit on them, but you can also do this, and both of these things are going to be aiding and growing our party and getting votes. So yeah.
But these people are not serious about policy. Let's just be clear. Like if you ask them, what would you have done in response to, let's say, like the massive influx at the border? Like put yourself in Biden's shoes. Like what is your policy solution to that? I shit you not. Every time I've asked that question, I've asked this question so many times. They say like Cinemarxism, for example. He's this like Twitch leftist. I had a conversation with him and I asked him like, how do you like vet people coming into the country? Because you got to do that, right? He said his solution was to get rid of all border patrol. He's a prison abolitionist and a police abolitionist. To get rid of all CBP, get rid of all ICE, and what you do instead is you send a bunch of lawyers to go physically stand at the border, and then I guess migrants stand in a single file line, and then you just hand them papers, and then they come into the country. That was literally what he said.
But those are policy positions. They're just not serious about getting it accomplished because it's obviously way too absurd to actually do it. Like it's the same stuff with like the ACA and stuff. Like they have a policy position on healthcare. It's just that they.
Wait, what is this? Hold on.
But Rob, finish your point, and then we can have our final statements.
How many times does someone allowed to blow a whistle in your ear before you're justified in pushing them back?
Okay, you can answer quick.
We watched this part, right? Didn't we?
More than once, less than a million.
Okay, do you think she
I don't
will?
we can't look at wager this. I don't know the exact
great.
limit.
So
but I can say, let me answer your question. Let me answer your question. Stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. Let me answer your question. Stop interrupting. Let me answer your question. Stop interrupting. Great.
Wait. So
let me answer the question.
How would you elaborate on that answer?
I'm going to elaborate on the answer, please, if you'd allow me, right?
So you said more than one less than a million?
We saw the video. We don't have to use hypotheticals here. The amount of times that she may or may not have blown that whistle did not justify in any way, shape, or form that agent.
Well, no, if it's more than one, it's more than one and less than a million.
Yep, it meets your standard.
Right?
So she's justified in pushing. That was your standard. More than one and less than a million. You fucking idiot. You fucking.
They don't have any mechanism. They don't have any like serious thoughts about like how to actually do what they want or like what the constraints were at the time, like when the ACA was passed, right? But they still have policy positions that you could convince them are stupid.
They don't. I don't think you can convince them that it's stupid. But like they don't. But
you think you can convince them to vote for the Democrats? Like
no. My whole thing is like I just try to like be aggressive as possible with these people and make them look silly. That's like kind of what my whole thing's all about. Like that's how I.
That will peel them off to vote for Democrats where they otherwise wouldn't.
Not them, but like hopefully people that watch them. I get emails from people all the time from like saying they used to watch this or that person, and so I'm doing.
I got 6 emails that says Hutch was too aggressive. I'm a Hassan fanboy now.
I'm not watching Hassan. Like what I'm not sure about is the prescription, because I'll give you an example. I had a conversation the other day with Richard Hanania, and Hanania voted for Trump, and he was saying like crazy shit like, oh, don't worry about it, like fucking RFK won't have any position of any authority, and I wouldn't vote for him if they made him HHS secretary. I remember sitting in that election day stream, and he's like, yeah, there's no reason to think RFK will have he'll be sidelined and marginalized and that kind of thing. And with that said, I had him on, and we spent all the time like assessing Trump shit and talking about like abuses of Trump, internet like interventions, and hashing that out. What is your prescription with respect to the conclusions you're drawing, Hutch? It's not that we don't interact with these people, but is it that we don't have polite conversations with them?
What?
It depends. Like if your whole thing is constant Democratic Party, fuck the Democrats flowchart bullshit, and that's all you do, then I think the best thing to do in that spot for me, and I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but for me is to match that energy and to just really, I personally think that the flowchart shit is nuts. Like I think it's so thought terminating. I think it's so fucking stupid. And so I don't really make an effort to like hide my contempt when people demonstrate that kind of logic. And if you find that in your experience that you attract more bees with honey and that works for you, great. But I think that kind of rhetoric has just become so commonplace in online lefty populist brain rot spaces for so long. And I think there needs to be more people pushing back against. I'm not saying you have to, but I think there needs to be more pushback against it because I think it has done a lot of harm. I think like the 2016 Democratic primaries, that event alone, and if you watch the Ryan Getty video, he gets into this, but like I've been saying this for years, like that event alone, I think has done so much damage in terms of the discourse. So
the primary?
Yeah, the idea that Bernie Sanders was like robbed of the nomination in both 2016 and 2020, I think is really damaging.
True.
And I don't like people that spread that lie. I think it's destructive.
Do you think PISSCO agrees with that or no? I don't think PISSCO agrees with that narrative, right?
I think it's harmful. I think people lose faith. They literally think the system is completely rigged against them. And it's because they don't ever stop and ask themselves, why did we lose that election? You know, why don't we do better with black voters? They don't ask that question. They're just like, it's just fucking rigged. Katie Porter, Cory Bush, Jamal Bowman, you know, like down the line, that's their whole thing. They will never win. They will never lose a primary and then come after the fact and say, here's where I think our campaign like didn't, you know, It's just like, oh, it's just robbed. They think
only
that the
Democrats
Party,
do that for some reason.
The establishment wing
only liberals
should hand them power. Like they just want to skip the step of convincing voters. And they think they should, like they think that Pete and Amy, who were ideologically opposed to Bernie Sanders, they don't agree with his ideal governance. They thought Biden would have been a better candidate and a better president. But they think that Pete and Amy should have stayed in the race to artificially juice Bernie's numbers to like help him on Super Tuesday. How do you explain that? Like, what world do you live in? Do you think that the moderates are just going to give you power? No, convince voters. That's how you take the power. That's how you got to do it, right?
Is that a descriptive claim or a prescriptive claim? You're saying the way to get to power is X, Y, Z.
The way if they want to control,
or are you coming to some kind of normative assessment there?
The way if the Bernie populist wing of the party is ever going to be in the driver's seat of the party, it's going to be after they convince enough voters to give them enough seats to have a majority in the party, and then they can have more influence to elect a House Speaker. They can have more influence to decide who is in the Democratic leadership. But they don't do that. They never fucking do that.
Again, I just think that they're talking past each other. Like in that context, their claim is one that they were cheated out of whatever, and I don't agree with that claim, especially not in 2020.
That's good.
For reasons. But you just saying, well, the way you win power is X, Y, Z doesn't seem responsive to the claim of we were fucked and cheated out of it. It just seems to be like talking about some sort of descriptive.
What? No, I think Hutch's is pretty. That point was very obvious and very easy to understand. What Hutch is saying, this is a complaint I've had for a long time, is that it's never a lefty's fault when they lose an election. Actually, this used to be what I used to say all the time. Lefties always assume the only reason we lost is because more people just don't know everything that we're about. We just need to communicate better. We need to get our message out, and they'll all support us. If you don't support us, it's just because you haven't heard our message yet. And it's never going back to the drawing board and be like, okay, maybe this policy is not correct, or maybe we need to change the way that we approach this thing. They never, ever do that. It's always like lobbyists beat us, Pernina Turner. It's always, it was rigged against Bernie and black people were too stupid to understand that they should have voted for Bernie. It was Donna Brazil and the Democrats rigged it, super delegates. There's like always a reason why it's not their fault. It was like some elite thing against them, you know? Damn, how did somebody get here? Oh, I came into this map hella late.
Of how one gets power as opposed to whether or not what was done in a given context is like somehow intolerable or bad.
Well, the claim is just not. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but the claim is just not true. The idea that it was rigged. I mean, Hillary Clinton got 3 million more votes.
No, their claim is it's unfair, and you need to come with a claim it's not unfair because, and not just the way you get power is X, Y, Z. One is a normative kind of like back and forth. It's not unfair versus it is fair, and the other is, well, this is descriptively how one gets power. I feel like you're just not responding to them. I agree with you on 2020 especially.
Fair, unfair. I really don't give a flying fuck about like any of like those kind of descriptors. It's just the truth.
When PISSCO keeps saying normatively or prescriptively or descriptively is what he keeps going before. I don't know why I can't just use normal words. When Hutch is saying, this is how you get power, you have to do ABC, what PISSCO is asking is like, are you saying that like this is what they should do? This would be the morally correct thing to do? Or are you just saying that like if you want to get power descriptively, this is what you have to do? Like not that it's morally right or wrong, but like you need to do this. But he can't just put it into normal words. He has to keep saying like, is this a normative claim that you're making? Or is this a descriptive claim that you're just saying normal words?
That if the progressive populist wing is to ever be in a position where they're the leadership of the party, it will be because they convinced voters, and not because Pete and Amy didn't deliberately stay in the race to essentially hand it to Bernie.
I think what PISSCO's saying is, like, if you are talking to these people that are claiming fraud and rigging and unfair, and you just say that's not true, that's not going to do anything. Maybe if you, like, you know, demonstrably show the facts of it, you'll bleed the people off who are watching and say, well, it looks like that's wrong. But
this is why I would respond. I'd be like, it's not unfair in virtue of one of the expectations in a primary contest is that candidates are able to strategically and tactically withdraw, and that's part of the rules of the game. And if you're working within the rules of the game, there's nothing unfair about it in that sense. And there's never been a norm against like dropping out for purposes of, you know, making arrangements. That's part of everyone's expectation. Therefore, it's not unfair. But you just saying, well, how you win power is XYZ. It doesn't surprise me that it doesn't stick with them, because I don't feel like it's addressing their claim of unfairness. It just feels like it's one is a normative claim and one is a descriptive one.
I don't know why he keeps saying that. I don't know if anybody else on the podcast is even aware of what PISSCO's saying, or I don't know why he can't just be a little bit more clear about what he's talking about. But okay.
I mean, I just like the label fair or unfair. It's like if Bernie Sanders had built a coalition big enough to take on the moderate wing after they were inevitably coalesced around the strongest moderate candidate, then he would have been in the driver's seat. But he didn't do that. Is that fair or unfair? Like it's
that's their claim. Their claim is unfair.
Yeah, but it's your job as a candidate. So that's the job. If you want the job, you got to convince either plurality or a majority of voters to give you that position. Nobody's going to hand it to you. That's my point. Like the whole framing just drives me insane. Why? Like do you guys ever hear people that are like, well, we tried the moderate thing for like the last like 50 years. Why doesn't the Democratic Party try the progressive thing? How many times have you guys heard this idiotic claim? That's not how this fucking works. In what universe are the, you know, the wing of the party that's in power, they're gonna be like, you know what? I'm just gonna hand you this. No, you do it by convincing voters.
Okay, but you're once again, you're talking past them. Like the claim isn't how one receives the power. It's like, it would be wise to do X strategy. It would be wise for us to choose this. And what you're saying is, well, haha, you can't win. This isn't really addressing their...
Holy shit, this is the most... Somebody said in chat this was intentional. Is it? I can't tell if this is intentional or not. It's very, 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 very obvious what Hutch is saying here. I don't know how you misunderstand this and speak English fluently. I don't understand what's happening right here.
A claim about the wisdom of a given approach.
I do think a lot of them also believe they already have convinced voters, and it's just like corporate Democrats and corporate interests and evil things.
See, like this guy understands. Like he already knows. He understands what the conversation is.
I agree with, right, but then it's like, okay, to the extent that they're making that claim, that is a descriptive claim, which you have to address and say something like, well, no, because XYZ, look at these analyses. You can see like the amount of money spent isn't really influencing, whatever you want to say. That's the thing is, if their claim is something like the smart strategy would be, no, I'm not yelling. Sorry, my voice. Yeah, there's a lot of words exchanged today. If the claim is that Democrats should adopt a given strategy, and this would be better for Democrats, saying like, well, moderates aren't.
How long is this? The meta weird fucking philosophy tips are coming out. I don't understand why. Jesus, it's such a waste of time. I don't understand how it's so hard to understand what other people are saying.
I've seen that ICE video where that one dude in Minnesota was trying to kill all them ICE agents. Like he was laying on top of that. He had his gun on his back, but I know he was gonna pull that shit out, and he was gonna do the 360 matrix shit and shoot everybody. And that's why they had to shoot him all those times. It looked like they had him tackled, and it looked like they sprayed that shit in his face, and it looked like they had him under control. But y'all don't know, this motherfucker used to be in the military. He's dangerous. He could have killed all of them with that pistol. They all had pistols, but he had a special one. I've seen.
Fucking retarded.
We're just gonna hand it over. Isn't responsive to the claim. It just.
Well, the framing is.
Okay, wait. Can we put a pin on this for now, because we are going to do this way more, and PISSCO is not going to be the stand-in for the left. We're going to have actual people who have these very disagreeable positions.
I agree with Hutch on this. That's what
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is like you're pretty much on our side in this debacle. So like it's almost like we're wasting all our arguments with people that mostly agree with each other.
Can I just say one thing real briefly? Last thing. I just want the last word on this. Okay? It's the framing that is just like poisoning the discourse. The framing is that there's this monolithic Democratic Party that's like a hive mind that make decisions through some kind of collective consciousness. And that is not what is happening. We live in a representative democracy. So if, for example, the voters in the districts of the Democrats who voted to pass that ICE bill, if they disapprove of those voters, they can primary them and vote them out. So like the way that you make decisions as a party is you forge consensus. And that consensus is going to look different depending on what type of candidates the voters themselves elect. So just stop treating the party like a hive mind and start treating it like what it is. It's a democratic institution.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I'm going to say the last thing now, and I want you to think about this for next week, because ultimately it sounds like at the end you're saying it's their responsibility to earn the votes, and I feel like that's what they're going to fire back at you when they don't vote for the general. But don't respond to that.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I didn't follow that. I'm sorry.
Well, that's not the same thing at all. They don't. When people are saying, when the people on the far left are saying you haven't earned our vote or whatever, like I agree with that. We haven't earned their vote. but it's because they're not Democrats and they're not part of our party. Much the same that we haven't earned the vote of like hardcore Trump supporters because they're not part of the same movement. They just say they are, but they're not. We will never earn those votes. And what Hutch is fundamentally saying is we shouldn't try to earn those votes because it would cause us to go so far outside of what we actually are. We would turn off most of our voter base. Just appeal to your own demographic and activate your own voters. It's not even remotely the same thing there, though. That's not even remotely the same thing. Whereas lefties plan to come in, or they don't plan to, but lefties want to come in and just like superimpose themselves on an already established democratic government foundation or political party foundation and just like take a bunch of stuff. Look at how Trump built his shit. Trump didn't do it that way. Trump was getting fucked by every single part of the conservative apparatus for the entire time. Cruz and Rubio were fighting with him. Everybody else in the primaries was fighting with him. The media, Fox News, everybody was against him. The Tea Party eventually hopped on because they eventually liked, I guess, Trump or whatever, but like Trump didn't come in and say like, you gotta give me all the good media coverage and blah. He just fought his way through and people were fucking retarded on the Republican side. Eventually they all started to support him, you know? But he didn't have a hand up or any help from the Republicans. Definitely not the Republican establishment doing that.
Vote for the general, but don't respond to that.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I didn't follow that. I'm sorry.
Well, you're saying, you know, hey, like, Bernie didn't win because he didn't get the votes. I agree with this, but it's like, okay, well, isn't it Kamala's duty to earn the vote of the progressives who feel like they're just?
So it's her fault.
It is.
No,
I mean, but like those voters who decided to not vote for Kamala, they made that decision.
Fuck, this is a tricky question, but the reality is, see, and this is part of why I'm saying these people shouldn't be part of our movement, right? This isn't really a tricky question. You're not earning their vote because you're never going to earn their vote. They're not part of our coalition. They don't support the same things that we support. We shouldn't be trying to earn their vote.
We're responsible for their decision. Kamala didn't force them to not vote for her. They chose that.
Do you give Kamala responsibility for not winning?
Kamala failed to build a winning coalition. There's no doubt about that. Kamala failed to build a winning coalition.
All right. Do we talk about Greenland for like 10 seconds? I'm sure non.
Yes, we should. I want to hear Non-Fon's opinion on Greenland.
Right,
is that everything basically?
Greenland, all right. Trump threatens and says that Greenland's a necessity. There's nothing that can happen other than them capitulating to us, completely threaten all these tariffs and potentially troops on the ground, tank all the markets, and then declare victory when we get back to the same place, which is they said we could put bases there. Did I get that right? Does anyone have any contentions with that recap of what happened?
That's classic Trump strategy. That's the foreign policy.
I'm honestly not surprised. Like a lot of his trade deals are like kind of scaled down versions of that. Like, you know, he'll announce some insane shit. He did it with Colombia, announcing like some insane 50% tariffs on Colombia early on for like literally no concession, just because him announcing that he got a deal can get like headlines. It's not that surprising to me. I'm a little, there's a little part of me that's upset that we didn't get some type of deal that like would have given Greenland like citizens like a lump sum of money or whatever, because that would have been a good natural experiment. That would have been a good
like $500K each too. Talking about a UBI, that's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wait, was it in exchange for Greenland?
No, in exchange for Greenland, he was like, let's pay every citizen and they become Americans. But you know what would have happened is he would have put a bunch of military stuff there and he'd been like, well, each Jericho missile is worth this much money and we're paying you in protection, right? Like that's what would have happened.
That's exactly what would have happened. And because think about his healthcare plan. Speaking of healthcare, and speaking about Affordable Care Act and single parent and all that stuff, Trump's plan that he announced, I think, was it $2,000 per person to spend on health insurance a year, which is vastly below what people usually spend. So I don't think you can trust it. But Non-Fun in general, you would be okay with a consensual acquisition of Greenland, right?
Like I don't have a principled objection to that. Like that, like
wouldn't it be cool?
Sufficient. So I think Greenland is like a resource, probably more of a resource drain than it's worth. From my understanding, they get a lot of money and subsidies already from the Danish government.
Yeah, but it's like civilization. It costs a lot to build up the city a little bit, but eventually when you tech up, it's got the resources you need for those.
I mean, like Alaska's still a net drain on our like treasury, right? So like,
what? So you give up Alaska? You think it was Seward's folly? You think it was Seward's folly? You believe them?
Wait, PISSCO. I mean, I know it's a little bit of a meme, but the idea is the minerals and natural resources in Greenland will be not so difficult and expensive to mine once global warming happens and melts a lot of the ice. This is a non.
It's a little cynical. I grant you, it's a little cynical, and obviously I disagree with the policy to the extent that it's unconsensual. But I don't have a problem with
these videos of the force that I once led, and I see, frankly, an ill-trained, hot-tempered, undisciplined force that has lost its way and has lost sight of its core mission of immigration enforcement. To civilians, to citizens in Minneapolis, St. Paul, this must feel like an occupying force of some sort, except it's their own government. I'm pleased that the president is sending Tom Homan to Minneapolis. Tom Homan used to work for me. He is very definitely pro-enforcement, but he's a career law enforcement officer. He was a police officer in upstate New York before he went into immigration enforcement. And my belief and my expectation and my hope is that Tom will be able to calm things down with the local government there, and we'll see a cessation of hostilities, and hopefully the thousands of DHS personnel who are in Minneapolis right now for reasons I don't fully understand, will withdraw.
Tom
from
Hellman is the other
situation
guy
and go
that
back
sounds
to
like an
their core
alcoholic
mission.
that sat
In
next to
other
Eric
parts of
Adams
the
when he was
government,
being
let's not
extorted by
forget,
the DOJ.
way, that Greg Bobino, who we've talked so much about, is a Border Patrol official. The border is, Texas. It's north of Minneapolis. Border Patrol agents are not well trained to do law enforcement in the inner cities of Minneapolis and Chicago and other places like that. So I hope we've seen a turning point from a very dangerous situation.
Yeah, I mean, and Tom Homan, as we always remind people when he's on the show, he got an award for his distinguished service when he was working under you as a secretary and under in the Obama administration. But Tom Homan going in there,
is that the meme?
Given what has happened on the ground already in Minneapolis, it's clear the officials there still want all of the federal agents to leave. Do you think that people can trust the word that is coming from the Department of Homeland Security, given obviously what Kristi Noem said over the weekend doesn't match up with what everyone could see themselves in those videos?
Right, and you don't need to be a law enforcement expert to look at those videos and see what happened to both Renee Good and Alex Preddy. They did not have to die. This was a confrontation by law enforcement officers who were undisciplined, hot-tempered, who came at them in a menacing way, and it ends up with them being shot and killed. They did not have to die, and it doesn't take an expert to see that. I do worry about the credibility of the Department of Homeland Security and its leaders branding these two Americans, these two civilians, as domestic terrorists or the perpetrators of acts of domestic terrorism does a huge disservice to them. I'm sure it wounds their family, their survivors, their friends, and it makes light of the term. A domestic terrorist is a very, very dangerous individual, and these two have none of those attributes. Obviously, in the Pentagon where I used to work, there's a concept called undue command influence. And what that means is that leaders of a department do not get out ahead of an investigation. You let the investigation play out. You let the facts
you follow
lead
the facts.
you to a conclusion. Tom himself was actually pretty disciplined after the Renee Good shooting to say, let's see what happens with the investigation, while everybody else was branding her the perpetrator of an act of domestic terrorism and making all sorts of conclusions. And so there needs to be an investigation of this shooting, of the shooting of Renee Good. If I were DHS secretary, I would want to see local law enforcement participate in that investigation for reasons of accountability and credibility.
And credibility just for the appearance of,
You are also the head of the National Governors Association, so I do want to ask about what's going on in Minnesota. I'm sure you've seen the video, maybe multiple videos of Alex Preddy being shot and killed by federal Border Patrol agents, the second fatal shooting by federal officials in Minnesota this month. Governor Walz is demanding President Trump stop the crackdown there. Are you comfortable with what the Trump administration is doing in Minnesota?
Well, first off, this is a real tragedy, and I think the death of Americans, what we're seeing on TV, it's causing deep concerns over federal tactics and accountability. Americans don't like what they're seeing right now. But I want to step back for just a second, because President Trump was elected to fix immigration issues. And, there was broad agreement that we had to close the border. So the Biden era of 4 years of open border policies was disastrous. So broad agreement, President Trump closed the border, promised to get violent criminals out of our country, and I think everybody agrees with that. But now Americans are asking themselves, what is the end game? What is the solution? And, we believe in federalism and state rights, and nobody likes feds coming into their state. And so what's the goal right now? Is it to deport every single non-U.S. citizen? I don't think that's what Americans want. We have to stop politicizing this. We need real solutions on immigration reform. And I believe that I've got a great solution, that we should give the states the authority to do workforce permits, right?
So are you saying that they should pull out of Minnesota?
Well, I think that the president has to answer that question. He is a deal maker, and he's getting bad advice right now. The president needs to let the American people, what is the solution? How do we bring this to conclusion? And I think only the president can answer that question because it's complicated. We have to enforce federal laws, but we need to know what is. the end game. And I don't think it's to deport every single non-U.S. citizen. I think we need employers.
LSF is full of lies and hate speech against Asmon. So many posts about him with lies, most of them destiny glazing. If you look at the comments, they keep saying, here comes the downvote bots from Asmon, yet no comment against Asmon is downvoted. Wow. It's total destiny glazing there. I'm not even mad. If people don't like Asmon, I'm just mad about all the fake and lies that those posts and comments tell. Same with Hassan. I don't care his politics. I don't even really care if he shocked the dog or not, but the nonstop lies without any consequences, that's what fucked me up. Asmon is one of the largest streamers online, and he goes against the message. That makes him a hyper super Nazi who must be stopped. That's because lots of things are happening against him lately. His refusal to debate Destiny and Hassan, the unfortunate coincidence between the pedo allegation plus his blunder with the Lucar DM. I don't think this is affecting him that much. Fucking Tectone allegedly losing his case. Is that affecting him that much? His real-time analysis of all the ICE videos are extremely good source of nice, juicy, out-of-context clips. Non-US viewers getting a bit tired of the heavy lean on the political contents lately. So yeah, it only makes sense that anyone that hates Baldy would capitalize on all these things to destroy him. I sincerely hope he manages to weather this shitstorm. Damn, bro. Because LSF is mean about you? Why? What is the shitstorm? There's bad posts on LSF? Can I please go to having this be the worst thing in my life? It's just people on LSF don't like me? What the fuck? Can you troll Tectone? Tectone seems like he's getting trolled pretty hard right now. Look at the pin top post on Asmon's subreddit. Subreddit update. No more politics. 1 year ago. It's time to go. Ubisoft. Was I able to own the chuds? No. Seriously, dude? Gay black samurai? What? Is Mizkif scheming against you? I don't think so. I feel like me and Miz have never adversarially really crossed paths, but that's because we signed the Treaty of Valduba, or whatever the fuck. And that treaty has yet to be broken during the Our Place thing. Juice Stalker was in his DMs? Yeah, I saw it. There's a lot of glazing here, though. Damn. Am I getting... Oh, those are my bots working overtime. Okay. Well. I'll be back tomorrow. Stay safe, don't die. Foster, cow, badge, milk, rabbi, rattle, field... Ooh, snake. Moose, squeeze, close, ruffle, fleece, weaver, drain, goa, and buffalo. Never mind. Water buffalo. Weaver, spider. Field spider. Field snake and rattlesnake. I feel like those are two kinds of snakes, no? These like things you can do to fuck with somebody? Oh, not even close. I don't know. I don't even know what a water buffalo is. I feel like I know this from like a fucking Veggie Tales song or something. Milk. Moose. Things that come from cow? But no, because cow's already here. Jesus. To empty something? Squeeze it, drain it, milk it, fleece it? He got fleeced? Oh my god. Okay, to exploit something? Yeah, same thing, okay. Foster kid. Field kid? Rattle kid? Rabbi? Oh. Oh, fuck, I'm not gonna know the names. These are female actors. Jodie Foster, Sigourney Weaver. Something. Field. Moose, cow, buffalo, ruffle? Goa? Is that a name? Goa. Fuck. Fuck, just give it to me, please. God damn it. Is Rabbi? Could never be a last name, right? Badge, clothes, ruffle, cow, moose. Rattle? Rabbi? Oh my god. Badge. Rattle. Cow. Something buffalo? Oh. Okay, what else is there? Hold on. Fuck me. I don't know. Fuck me. God damn it. Daunt. It's daunting? I don't even know what that means. I don't know how any of these words relate to each other. Rattle, ruffle, cow, and buffalo? I don't even know who Field is. Foster, Weaver. Yeah, rattle your cage, ruffle your feathers, sure. But he cowed him? That guy cowed him. He buffaloed his mom hard. Don't have a cow, man. Oh, maybe, I guess. Don't have a cow. You're buffaloed out of shape. Sally Field. Who is close or close? Glenn Close? Or Glenn Close? Okay. Mammals minus the last letter. Badger, goat, moose, and rabbit. Oh, okay. Well. Jesus. Hassan talking about you today. What does he want?
It's, what is it? Where is it? Hassan calls out made omni-liberal fully mask off openly. Hassan Abi's call out made omni-liberal, sex pestiny, fully mask off openly endorse violence and self-harm. Hassan gets shot, all of us will clap. Hassan should TOS. All streamed on YouTube, a platform where he's already demonetized. To which I responded with, because he was saying like,
all the foreign interference that is just happening openly. The Chinese Communist Party for his little fucking vacation trip with him, the rest of his little streamer fucks to China until he has publicly announced and addressed that and talked.
I think it's pretty funny that none of this is even remotely, like, he's not even hiding under the guise of like political disagreements or whatever. He's just very mad. He's just incredibly mad. He's mad that I have the capacity to go on a fucking trip to China with my friends. This is just him revealing his own personal insecurities.
Holy projection, Batman. Why would somebody be upset when the second largest political streamer on Twitch takes a Chinese sponsored trip, doesn't disclose it, and then does a whole bunch of propaganda for another country with all of his retarded Twitch friends? Yeah, that's annoying as fuck. I don't like it when people do propaganda for other countries, but it could just be that I'm personally mad because I wish I could go to China. I wish I could go to China. Oh, no.
And he's not even doing a very good job trying to make it seem like this is a real political perspective either. Okay?
True. Nothing political about that.
And in this process, he just says, I'm a paid agent of
True.
the CCP.
True.
About it. I have no idea why the fuck you want this guy anywhere near any of your liberal.
This is exactly like when he was malding when he wasn't invited to the DNC and he lost his mind and he was like, why are you guys inviting Hassan to the DNC? You should be.
Wasn't I invited to the? I think I was invited by Kyla. I could have gone to the DNC, but I didn't want to because I thought I wouldn't be able to stream it. So that's not even true. I didn't think Assange should be at the DNC, and I think he spent the first part of him being at the DNC with the non-aligned movement or the whatever fucking the Palestinian loser movement, and he got kicked out of the DNC. So apparently, even the DNC thought he shouldn't have gone to the DNC. So I don't know what he's trying to say there. I was invited. I just didn't want to go.
Be inviting me instead. Does anyone have that clip? It's the same shit. It's always.
Anybody have that clip of me saying they should have invited me instead?
He's the same shit. He's just so fucking mad.
Protests. Absolutely fucking. One of the hugest issues that this country has right now is all.
Was it not part of the bad timing with your tweets and such too? No, I don't think so. This is the one where I called in and Josiah and IRI were walking around and I talked to Jenk and everything, right? On camera. I just thought, every time I go to events like this, like there's never like a reliable stream setup and like nothing fucking works. And then I've traveled for like 3 days and I'm not streaming. It drives me fucking insane. I lose my mind for that shit. Yeah, but Kyla talked to me about going, but I was like, I don't want to just take off, especially like with all the political shit going around. I don't want to take off 3 days and then have this shit like not work or whatever.
All of the foreign interference that is just happening openly on all of our social media platforms by the same countries that paid this fucking loser to go into a shill who couldn't even go through with it. He couldn't even let the guy rape his neck, okay, at the stupid chiropractic place because he knew how bullshit the stuff that he was promoting was. He was getting paid too much, compensated too much by the Chinese government to say no. Okay,
Wait, this doesn't even make sense. So I was getting paid by the Chinese government to have my neck get cracked in like the Chinese traditional medicine. Also, he has watched every fucking part of the streams that I did in China. So thank you, Sex Pestity, for watching my IRL streams.
Holy projection. I mean, you can see what I watch on stream because I'm literally streaming it. Unlike you, who apparently watches a lot of my stuff off stream. When I'm off stream, I'm gooning. But more importantly than gooning, I'm arcing. Okay? That's why I have 6 million coins. And Hassan probably doesn't have any fucking coins because he's a fucking arc loser. Okay?
Okay, that's a fan right there. That's number one. Number two, that's a fan and he's crashing out. But
oh, shit. Oh, he got me with the fan and crashing out. Oh, he hit me with the double whammy. Oh, no.
Also, I was paid for it, but I didn't go through with it because I'm a pussy. But then also I was still paid for it anyway. Like what?
Well, you were paid for it. You got they had the sign up for him with his name spelled incorrectly, I think, right? Remember when he went to the thing and then he was inside? He's like, well, just don't touch my neck. Ha ha. When they were promoting Chinese alternative medicine.
How does this work? You watch more than me? Okay, don't reveal that you didn't watch all of my fucking IRL streams in China. Those were goated, okay?
Fuck this guy. Fuck letting him anywhere near your parties. Let's go hang out with Republicans. Go to the dangerous places. Get shot, motherfucker. Okay, all of us will clap your
Hell
box.
yeah.
All right, go to the Republican places. Go to the edgy places. Go hang out with tankies or whatever. But stay the fuck away from liberal protests. This
True.
Stay away from liberal protests. This is literally identical to him yelling about the. Come on, someone has to have the clip where he was crying about the DNC. Why is the DNC inviting him? That's my job. Why won't the DNC invite me?
These clips can't possibly exist because I was invited. I just didn't go.
Why won't the DNC invite me? Don't go to the liberal protests. Those are my protests. Okay, you go out there then. Big dog, the fuck do you mean?
Oh, he's so happy that he went for these 2 days. He's got like enough shit in the bank because he used to accuse me of this with my canvassing stuff where he's like, oh, you just invested all this in canvassing so that you can wield it online or whatever. He brought this out on Twitter too. He's like, I was on the ground. Oh my God. With his fucking giant press vest. Oh my God.
Why aren't you going out to the protest? I mean, probably not the best idea to have a genuine real-ass sex pest out there at the protest, but... Is this the one? Fuck off. See,
because I'll rape everybody. True, King. True.
And then people go, the issue, should you not research the topic? It's like, bro, it's about exercising a level of like.
He had heated mitts? Really? That'd be pretty funny if that's true.
It's about being a little bit more responsible with your.
More responsible? Excuse me, August. This is the part of the YouTube video where you roll the clips about him calling every single person that disagreed over the hospital bombing that he, by the way, ascertained exactly what happened in 2 hours.
Wait, no, this isn't the right one. This is him being wrong again about Israel.
Why is he playing Israel? Is he playing Destiny versus Destiny TikTok clips again? He loves clip channels of me. Holy shit, he loves the clip channels. God damn. Give me the clip, guys. Give me the clip. Give me the clip. Give me the clip. Give me the clip. King. Watch the interview again. It's literally got a red light. Which interview?
Again about Israel. This is the one that I was looking for.
Stop platforming people that are not supporting your candidates. You are private political parties.
This is Mr.
Red light. I don't know what the red light is. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is the backbone of liberalism in the United States of America, or at least he fancies himself to be that person, complaining that the
Destiny clip.
People have seen this happen every single fucking time I get invited to an event. there's like tech issues or there's no internet or whatever, and it's fucked up. And then I'm just there. And then like an assassination or like a nuclear bomb happens. And I was like, oh, well, here I am stuck at this fucking convention with no internet and now I can't cover it. If I was at home, I could literally just be watching it. So fuck me. But this was the one time where the connector was
It was pretty fun. I had this, you need to get one of these run gun IRL backpacks. You ever heard of those? Like,
Oh, for why I didn't go. How do you even have this, dog? This is unlisted. Fucking stalker, bro. He's saying in footage of Hassan talking to someone at the protest, you can see a red light coming out of his gloves indicating a heating element. Oh.
DNC. Complaining that the DNC is inviting me.
Stop platforming people that are not supporting your candidates. You're private political parties. You're supposed to be self-interested, okay? The whole reason you have superdelegates and shit is to protect your elections, right? Stop inviting people to your event.
53 views 7 months ago uploaded. Where does he even get these clips from? Destiny loses it on the DNC for inviting Hassan Piker. What is this video? Are you okay, little bro?
They hate your candidates. Don't do that. Stop doing that. It's retarded. Stop highlighting these people. Stop platforming these people. Stop spotlighting these people. Let them go to is it SDA, the Socialist Democratic Party of America?
DSA.
Brilliant guy. What is it, the SDA?
Let them go do
I'm sorry, I don't know any. I fucked it up because they're politically irrelevant and they don't support anybody that ends up winning and they have zero political power or sway in all of every fucking district they're in. So my bad on that one.
Of those people, Jesus. Why would you cuck out so hard at these losers? Hassan shouldn't be anywhere near the DNC.
True.
Brianna Joy Gray, I don't know, she gets invited to shit. Nobody for Breaking Points, Kyle Kalinske included. I'm sorry. Maybe actually, I'll give
True.
him. He's a little over the wall for me. Maybe he could come back.
Not anymore.
Wow. Brother, who died and made you responsible for who gets an invite to the Democratic Party?
Where's my...
Like, why does he think he gets to have a say on here from the outside? Bro wasn't even invited to the DNC, and he's just hating from outside the club. He can't even get in. He's like, oh, I'm the liberal gatekeeper. Why are you inviting these people? Invite me.
Yeah.
What is his projection? Does he fantasize about? What is he?
Anybody related to I don't know where Sam Cedar was. Actually, Sam Cedar is so poisoned by the people around him that
True.
even he should be anywhere. Yeah, none of these people should be anywhere near. Because if you're the Democratic Party, you have to support the people that are supporting you, okay?
Bro's like the Reddit mod for the DNC. I mean, he is. His Reddit mod was the one.
Like, yeah, does Hassan forget that he literally got kicked the fuck out? That he literally got kicked the fuck out? I don't know. Seems like I was cooking here. Destiny, all the comments are from 4 hours ago. Yeah, probably because he linked it in stream or because people saw it on stream and went and found it. I hope one day I'm cool enough to be invited to the DNC stuff like Hassan is someday. Okay. Now I'll be back tomorrow. Be careful. Stay safe. Be careful.